Good evening and welcome to episode 5 of the USA TKD Online 2020 Grand Slam coverage. I'm Barbara Brand along with Miyako Yerick. What divisions are on tap tonight, Miyako?
So today we have 4 different divisions and we're kicking off with our first semifinals after those first episodes of the prelims. So now we get to see the top half of most of those divisions and it's all the guys, plus we get some pair action today.
Oh, that'll be fun. And I think this one's pretty chunky, right? It's coming in at just over 3 hours. So hours, math, I think that's 3 snacks.
Well, I better go get my snacks right now, Coach Brand. Everybody go get your snacks, pause, come back, and let's get going.
Let's go. Up on the screen in the male cadet black belt division, we're going to have the referee team up on the screen for you. All these hardworking referees, thank you very much for helping out in our Grand Slam. This is Matthias Bassler. He's the first athlete in the semifinal round. He's from World Champion Taekwondo in Fairfield, Connecticut, and he's coached by Masters Gunn Kim and Kwanjin Ha.
And because this is the semis, we have the top half of the athletes from the prelims. So for this division, we have 31, and we're going to have to take only the top 8 into final. So it's going to be a rough cut here.
Yeah, that's going to hurt.
Nice punches, extensions there.
Really good power there. Really good power. Yeah, so we're going from a 50% cut to now like 3/4 of the athletes will be gone after this round. It's too bad because they all did such a fantastic job in the preliminary round. And I hope we could continue them all through, but unfortunately it doesn't work like that. We get nowhere.
So that first form we saw for this semis round was Sajong, and now moving on to the second form, Paljong. So some nice color belt forms for them to show off, both some side kicks and some front kicks. He's really going for some deep stances here.
Okay, we're going to see a lot of good front kicks from this division. He's starting us off. He's a little bit higher than his head, which is a good place for him to focus on. That looks about in range for him and what feels comfortable.
Yeah, I really like that he was trying to extend the length of the front stance, but as that was happening, some of the back legs didn't quite lock out. Some of the front knees weren't quite bent to 90. So just have to be careful as you do try and extend that you are aware of those other parts of your body that might give. So on the second form, a 6.83.
Yeah, I'm not sure we're supposed to notice all of that, Miyako. We just enjoy it. So yeah, he took a little lower hit on that second form for sure. This is Ezekiel Gonzalez. He trains in New York with Master Kim's Taekwondo Institute under Suji Kong and Sung-Si Kim. You know, I didn't get the total of that last one. What was a combined score?
That combined score is a 6.933.
6.933. And I know a lot of parents and friends, family, probably charting this as well with so many athletes. 31. Got to make sure we have good notes as we're going. So whip out those spreadsheets and clipboards, everybody on the couch.
And Zeke is fairly tall, or at least taller than Matthias, who went first. And those long extensions, the kicks were really high, both the front kicks and those side kicks coming forward.
Yeah, I like those front stances. They were nice and long, and he finished strong in those. So he gets a nice score, 7.13. Good job.
시작.
A little bit of the lift there on that left foot as he was transitioning from that parallel stance into the front stance. You want to, again, glide your feet. Let's see this side. That one was better.
Yeah, better. Nice shape. He's trying to extend out that leg. He was a little more successful when the right leg was back. He's got to clean up that extension just a bit. Oh, nice push. So these guys are really trying to power up from the floor, pushing down on the support leg to really go up. That right leg looks nice. Yeah, and well over his head. The shape of his stances, he had really good back stance on that last line. Then the right side back stance, just a little bit of quivering in that front knee. So you just have to make sure we get that nice shape and hold it. So 6.8 for his second. Wonder if that's going to happen to many of the athletes here, where they get a nice score on that Tego 4 and then they go to the more difficult Poomsae in some respects, right? But not
right.
all.
I was going to say, I think 4 might be harder for me.
I think so too, though that sidekick combination is tough on 4.
So hard.
So this is Jaden Lee from Georgia. He trains with Kim's K Taekwondo. He's coached by Sungjin Kim. Nice extension there. A little short and shallow on some of these back stands, and maybe drop just a little bit lower. Got to give yourself plenty of time to get set in those. Yeah, he's just a little shy. The back leg tends to be a little bit bent. So Jaden's going to get a 7.23, I think, largely because of those kicking techniques, especially the side kick. Scores are pretty consistent for him in accuracy for sure.
Yeah, and this is the cadet male, so 12, 13, 14 years old. But it might be interesting for them, since they have Sajong as that first form, to go back to yesterday's episode, because we had the junior male black belts, 15, 16, 17, and they had Kumgang and Sajong. So it might be nice to go watch, the slightly older guys do Sajong and see, what did they do really well? What could you pick up on and add into your own performance?
Right. If we combine all the numbers from the preliminary rounds for the cadets and juniors, what do we have, Miyako? Like 200 to watch? I mean, that's a lot of videos to learn from. More than 200. I think we have like 60 to 61 divisions in the preliminary rounds. So plenty of film to watch, everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
That was Jaden Lee from Georgia and Kim's K Taekwondo finishing up Taegu Paljang. So he got a 7.23 for Taegu Sajang and the exact same score for his second form. So he finished with a 7.233. Yeah, for parents at home, this is a little bit easier now coming out of the preliminary round. There was so much to track, but this one a little bit easier in the semifinal round. This is Isaiah Galvez from Texas. He trains with HK Taekwondo and Team Forge, and he's coached by Hyun Kim and AJ Munoz.
Needs to be a little careful on those side kicks. It looked like they stuck the side kick just in front of him, and then while extended, pulled back to finish in alignment. So the finishing line was good, but it extended a little early and came around almost like a hook kick. So just a little more practice there. The end line was very nice, though.
And he gets a 7.1.
We talked a lot during the summer Poomsae about making sure those hand techniques really hit the center line. His last punch did a good job coming forward of really being centered and not drifting out to like the outer sides of the body in line with the shoulder. But the first double punches just need to be aware there as well.
Yeah, that's right. It's easy to spot, especially as we're recording. When we review that Poomsae, probably have many to choose from. Pick the one where the punches are centered up.
But he has some really nice ending pictures where the freeze happens all together, but it's a little inconsistent. So just making sure he gets that on every single move, I think will help the overall picture.
All right, that's Isaiah Galvez from Texas, and he gets a 6.97 to follow up that 7.1 for Taylor Sajong. So he's going to pitch for the 7.033. This is Ryan Yoon from California. He trains at Team Kim Boyan.
시작!
Wow, really dips low on that side kick. First one, a little off of alignment, pushing to the inside. He's really trying to press up. There's a pretty aggressive speed through each technique.
바로!
Oh, and a nice strong finish.
Yeah, he's really able to show a lot of power through his motions.
Yeah, good score, 7.03. So that's a tie with our first athlete, Matthias Basler from Connecticut.
시작!
Ooh, he's starting off strong. Little lean forward here. You can pull that back a bit.
A lot of double pivots there on that 270 spin after the 8 count into the double knife hand block. Maybe even most of the athletes we've seen so far in this division. So if you're practicing that, just really try and get one smooth rotation as you go into that back stance double knife hand block punch.
Right. Where did he start?
바로!
I think that's pretty close to where he
Just
started.
a little bit off. Yeah,
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
쉬어!
You
차렷!
can judge
경례!
Without those like flipped blue and red mats, you can't super tell where he started. You have to go based on the flags in the background.
He gets 7.07. That's a good score for that second Poomsae because most of the athletes have dropped down a little bit.
Yeah, he's the only one to go higher.
Well, I think Jaden Lee got the same, right?
Same score, yeah.
So he ended up with a 7.050. Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, up next we have Ethan Gunn from New Jersey. He trains at Apex Tiger Gunn.
바로
And Ethan gets the score of 7.13 on Saja. That ties him up with Ezekiel Gonzalez, the second athlete.
시작.
Yeah, our scores are actually pretty tight on this first form so far. The first 6 athletes all within basically 0.2 of each other.
Right, and a lot of 7s, right? Already.
Yeah, I
maybe
mean,
more extension here.
Yeah, I could definitely make those stances longer.
Yeah, and his arms, like where he's finishing right here. So just a little bit more.
Watch the foot position on the front kick so that it doesn't bend at the ankle, but at the ball of the foot.
바로
Few athletes also finishing just to our right, their left,
Donny.
just a little bit from where they're starting.
Yeah, now that we've called attention to it, I'm probably gonna be really big.
Now we'll see it.
It's 7.17. So that's actually quite good. I think maybe that puts him in a second. Let's see, 7.150.
Yeah, Yeah, I think that does into second for now. Here we go. So,
Oh yeah.
Jaden.
We have Jaden Lee in first, followed by Ethan Gunn, Ryan Yoon in third.
준비.
So we'll see those standings about every 6 athletes or so. This is
시작.
Stephen Lezwari from California. He trains at Elite Taekwondo Center with his coach Kwang Yo Bae.
He has some long legs, actually. I think his torso is shorter. His legs just look so long. But because of that, they're a little bit slow to come up in the front kicks. If he could work on driving the knee nice and tight and high, that would help those front kicks really pop.
Right, that's a nice problem to have. He's got the great leg length. Now he just has to manage it as best as possible. He's got a 7.37, so that's a nice little gap for that first
big score.
시작.
He doesn't have much hip rotation, just a little bit there at the end. Try and get that through the whole 8 count. Something fun to work through.
That was a nice kick. Good job, man. He's almost there. He just has to put that weight back just a little bit more so he can stand up straight. A little bit more push through. Yeah, that if you could use that core a little bit more on those punches to help him rotate, that would be great. So Stephen Lezwari with Elite Taekwondo Center. Got a 7.37 for that first form and a 7.17. Oh, he's in great shape. He's going to finish with a 7.267. Wow, and into first place for him. Now, Miyako, you told me how to say his name because he gave us a little bit of a help last time.
He did. Kayarton.
Yeah, we got to remember that one, Kayarton. So think of the J as an E, I guess. Kayarton Knutson Ho from Texas. He trains at HK Taekwondo and Team Forge with Hyun Kim and AJ Munoz.
Right, he says he goes by Kiki because his name is hard to pronounce. But I will tell you, Kayarton is somebody with a name that gets mispronounced a lot. Just correct people. Just keep correcting them. Don't let them tell you to have a different nickname unless you like the nickname. But
well, you go by Coco, right? He goes by Kiki.
Yeah.
Seems like you should start a band. 7.27. But you're right. If that's your name, yeah, just correct people. Don't change your name. It's a beautiful name.
What? Yeah, I'd love to know more about it. If it has any meaning or family history to it. But here he is with his paw jog. Here's a nice deep stance holding that front knee.
Yeah.
Could have a little more hip rotation again.
Heel pop at the end, unfortunately, on that transition. It's like, oh, it's almost all the way down.
So I think if he continues to work on his front kick flexibility, he's controlling it well, but it's on the lower side of the range for this division. But his hand techniques are coming through nice and strong. So I think just lifting up the level of the kicks to match kind of how nice his hand power comes across will help his overall form.
Okay, so let's see how he did. I got a 7.27 first one, 7.2 for this one. So also
good
really
scores.
good score. Yeah, really good scores. 7.233.
Hey, USA Taekwondo family, this is Coach Sherman Nelson, your Minister of Information, and I am one half of the Chopping It Up Homeboys, the better looking half, as you can tell. And so I'm here today with Apollo Tan. Apollo, what's up, my man? How are you today?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. All right, sir, so you know you have the real cool name, right? You already know that Apollo is not Apollo Creed, because it got bad for Apollo Creed in Rocky IV. Yeah, you saw that. Throw the towel! Throw the towel! Yeah, it got really bad. But Apollo was also the Greek god of light. So, you know, there's all of that going on. So it's very cool. All right, so give us a little background information about you. I'm gonna do your questions in rapid fire. So I'm gonna ask you a question, you answer them, ask you another one, and then the person's watching this video will be able to get quick hits about you. All right, you ready? All right. How old are you?
12, sir.
Where you from?
Houston, Texas.
What's your dojang name?
White Tiger Taekwondo.
What's your grandmaster's name?
Master Song Tai Kim.
What's your favorite Poomsae?
Taeguk 6.
How long have you been doing Taekwondo?
Around 4 years.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being bleh, 10 being yay, how much do you love Taekwondo?
Yay.
Nice. Very, very good. I like how you acted it out. What's your favorite thing about Christmas?
My favorite thing about Christmas is getting gifts and getting together with family.
What's your favorite thing about this interview? I stumped him. You don't have an answer for that?
Talking about stuff with you.
Okay, all right. I like it. No. No, there was no good answer for that part. Listen, so what's your favorite thing about Taekwondo? What do you love about Taekwondo the most?
Well, I just love about Taekwondo is being able to showcase my talents and be able to get stronger and make new friends at my dojo.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. How has it been preparing for a virtual Poomsae event?
In my opinion, it's been much more difficult than a live performance.
Okay.
You have to record take after take after take, but then with the live Taekwondo tournament, there's only one chance, and the adrenaline is going through you, and that just somehow makes the Poomsae better.
Yeah, I can understand. I think I can believe how the adrenaline rush fuels you to really go out there and do your best. And maybe if you're taping it, you know that if this isn't your best, you can just do it all over again. Yeah, there's something different about that. Okay. If you could have a superpower, if you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Either super speed or fire powers.
Fire powers. What? Say more about you. Like the Human Torch, you can project fire. You can turn yourself into fire.
Yeah.
You can control fire like Pyro.
Yeah, like a lot stronger than those two though.
Okay, yeah, because Pyro was kind of whack. Even in the reboot, he was kind of whack. And he always had to have a lighter with him to have fire. I thought that was so dumb. Because all you do is knock the lighter out of his hand, and then what can he do? Yeah. So don't be like Pyro.
Yeah.
Don't be like Pyro. All right. So what's one thing that you want to see happen? This is our last question. What's one thing you want out in 2021? What's one thing you want to have happen in 2021?
Well, I'd like to have it happen sooner than 2021, but I'd like to have the vaccine for COVID mainly and be able to get back and do Taekwondo longer for more durations, because now my Taekwondo is split into like twice a week and 1 hour only because of COVID. So
got you. Paulo, I think a lot of us wish that we could get out and get back to I don't think we'll ever go back to what we call normal, but people just want to get back out into what they consider regular. So let's hope it happens soon. But let's be safe until it does. Listen, man, I wish you a happy holidays. I love how festive your house is decorated, man. That's very cool. You're such a well-composed young man. That's pretty cool. How old are you again?
I'm 12, sir.
12, man. Yeah, you kind of got it together at 12. At 12, I had really big glasses, an uneven afro, and I did not have the composure that you have. I probably would have had to sit on a phone book to be seen in this interview. So I like how I like how I made you do that. So continue to work hard, man. I wish you the best of luck at this competition and in all of your future endeavors. And hopefully in 2021, I get to see you live and in person. All right?
Sir.
All right, man. Thank you again for your time, man. Have a great rest of your day. Yeah, see, Apollo, I like you. Like him.
준비. 시작.
Right, this is Apollo 10, coolest name ever, from Texas. He trains with Texas White Tiger Taekwondo under Master Song Tae Kim. So we're looking for that alignment in those side kicks. What do you think, Miyako?
Oh, I was busy reading about his musical theater background. So you'll have to tell me how his side kicks were.
He needs to work on it just a little bit. He's on his way toward that alignment. So just a little bit more work.
Yeah, well, he was busy, Coach Brand. He was in an online production of an adaptation of Disney's Descendants musical.
Wow. That's a mouthful.
시작.
I feel like we get such a range of body sizes in this cadet division, 12 to 14. So here, Apollo is 12, so he's just entering this division, but then we get some really taller athletes who are, 14, about to age up. But he's trying here, this stance, fighting for it, a little bit short. His legs on those kicks, though, do help him look taller and take up more of the screen.
Let's see on these. We want these to be vertical. Almost there. Just needs to maybe check a mirror, make sure everything's in alignment, the shoulder, hip, knee, as he's kicking. Good ending, though. Look at that. Yeah, uses his body well here on the last 4 steps.
시작. 차렷. 경례.
So that's Apollo 10 out of Texas. Yeah, 7.1 for his first Poomsae. And 7.07. This is going to be very close.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of tight scores right around that cutoff from the prelims to the semis. Here, that total score is 7.083. So I wonder what's going to happen here. Again, 31 athletes. We're only taking the top 8. And our high score so far is a 7.267.
Yeah, this is Jake Baudo from New York. He was in the 25th seed to start. He's from YH Park Taekwondo Academy and coached by Alex Torcios. This is another one of our short torso, super nice long leg athletes. Lucky him. Easily over his head.
And the side kicks were nice and high, good extension.
And a 7.03. That's the same score that our first athlete got, Matthias Basler, and also the same score that Ryan Yoon got. We'll see if he can boost himself up.
A little bit slower tempo on the first bar.
It looks like he's growing. His pants look a little like he's almost out of them, but it kind of works to his advantage. If he has nice long stances, then those will be really apparent.
Right.
So he just needs to actually step out a little bit further.
Needs to watch the head coming forward just a little bit on those front kicks. He submitted 2 hobbies that he has outside of Taekwondo, and they're quite different, I think. He likes playing hockey and also cooking.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Maybe you have to do a lot of cooking because I feel like hockey is quite exertive and you get pretty tired.
Yeah, good. That's great. 7.13. And he finishes with a 7.083, the exact same score as the competitor just before him.
준비.
That was Apollo 10.
시작.
This is Donny Kim from Georgia. He trains at Kim's K Taekwondo under Master Sungjin Kim.
Ooh,
Nice, really trying to reach up there. It almost looked like he unfolded that kick.
yeah.
Ooh, nice left front kick. Better than the right.
바로.
It gets a 7.2.
시작.
So a lot of athletes do that last step, have their foot turned inward and then kind of double pivot to get to the next step. I think that's a really easy fix, right? Just make sure that foot goes in straight, doesn't anticipate the turn, and then shift your weight to get to the other side.
Right. That's like a really early pre-step, like where you just don't
Right.
even quite finish the move before you go to the next
So
one.
common, so common. Like it often happens at the end of this line too, where they're anticipating making that turn. He didn't do it, but a lot of athletes do. So it's good to see that he stayed safe.
바로.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like it's your brain is just already moving on to the next steps and
So-
you're not realizing that your body is doing it
정면.
because you're thinking ahead as you're finishing the last moves.
Right, and some forms are just, it's more likely that it will happen there. Or you get 7.13. For example, Tebek happens all the time in Tebek. I don't know why, but even after like the first front kick, punch, people turn their foot inward. 7.167. So it's something to watch out for. This is Anderson Nix from Arizona. He trains at Arizona Pride and World Taekwondo Center. And Ruben Lawley and Megan Yee.
시작.
So what I like about him is he takes that nice low stance. So you see really the coach's influence here in getting him to really drop down low. But he has to be able to come up and straighten out that support leg. That's a little challenging for him.
바로.
So that's Anderson from Arizona, gets a 7.3. That's a good score. There are a lot of good pieces to that. There were some times where the transitions were a little challenging for him, but I like the direction he's going.
시작.
Yeah, staying really level on these low stances.
Seems like he's doing a full 8 count too. A lot of times this gets cut to 6 or 7 seconds, but really looks like he's doing a good full 8 count.
Sure is. And why not? Why not stay there for the whole thing, right? I just think our adrenaline sometimes pumps, and then either athletes forget to count or they count very, very fast.
And you think you're counting in seconds, but
Yeah.
you're like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, let's move on.
And your coach
Take
says,
your time.
"Coach, so that was a little fast." And I didn't even think of that.
바로. 셋. 경례.
Okay, good job. I'm sure Arizona Pride Taekwondo and World Taekwondo Center are very proud. He gets a 7.4, which is our highest score so far in that last Poomsae. So he may very well have moved himself up into first. Let's see, he finishes with a 7.3. 5-0. We'll be seeing the standings. Look at that. So we have Anderson Nixon first place, followed by Steve Lezwari, Kiart Knutson Ho, Jaden Lee, Donny Kim, Ethan Gunn, Apollo 10, and Jake Baudo in those first 8 spots, because we're looking for those top 8 to move on to the final round. So we have 31 athletes altogether, and these were the first 12. This is Evan Young from Just Taekwondo
시작.
in Southern California, coached by Master Jason Lee.
A little bit of an overlean on that front stance. So I think just
Yeah, some Asian teams do that, and I've seen other athletes do that, try to have a little bit shorter stance, but still try to keep it low, and with a little lean forward. We'll see how the referees like this.
slower tempo, but it's almost kind of a weird pause in some places.
follow.
By weird, you mean deliberate?
I think it is deliberate, but I don't know if I would pause as long as he did in some areas.
7.13. So he's trying to show a very strong finish, I think. And then it's like, yeah, how do you interpret that, right? So we want to finish strong, but we also have to connect to the next movement.
시작.
That's a much better way of explaining what I was seeing.
So here again, this short stance, I don't know if it's going to pay off for him. At the most recent World Championships, it's so recent, it was like last week, the stances tended to be a little bit longer and a little bit lower. So I don't know if this is a strategic plan for a specific type of tournament, and I don't know how the referees are going to interpret this, but that was a nice front kick. And he can get up there. He just needs to push down a little bit more. Watch. Yeah, nice height on that kick.
Yeah, good control, good chamber. I think I just want a little more connection. Oh, that back stance was really, really tight here.
Oh, that front foot just saved it. It was a little bit to the outside. His balance could have easily gone over, but he kept it. Good job.
키니.
So Evan gets a 7.07. With everybody so stacked up, it's going to be a really
So close.
really tough for some of these guys that are really good, but still won't be able to just quite make the cut. So we would just say, keep training. This is Anderson Dang from New York. He trains at Champions Taekwondo.
Pretty good reach, good alignment.
Wow, good recovery too. A little short on these stances. I'd like him to be a lot lower.
I think it's hard. A lot of us are training in unusual places that are probably smaller, like your living room or basement or bedroom even. And so it gets hard to practice full stances and full transitions. But I hope that when we get back to dojongs, they can really work through those and extend everything again.
Yeah, that's definitely true. He has 7.37. That's a great score for his first Poomsae, and tied with the athlete that did get the highest score so far on that, Stephen Lezwari. Yeah, I had all my furniture, like my living room and dining room, all the furniture in one corner, trying to get some training space here at home during the stay-at-home order. So yeah, everybody is affected the same way. And I think the first part of the technical aspects to get pushed around is going to be our stances. So we always have to be mindful of elongating them, even if it means like just doing one step of the Poomsae and then taking a step back and then doing the next step of the Poomsae if that's all the space you have.
Yeah, and I think especially maybe some of our younger athletes think practicing means just doing the form over and over and over, but there are so many drills and fundamentals, transitions, body weight exercises. There's a lot of things you can do to train Poomsae that isn't just the Poomsae itself.
Yeah, for sure. Go do some conditioning outside. Go for a long run, long bike ride. 7.03. Do some outdoor stuff that kind of help complement your Poomsae training. He had a 7.37, which is great, and then a 7.03, so it finishes with a 7.2, and that's a great score in this round. There's only 3 other 7.2s, I think, or 3 altogether. So this
Yeah,
is
the high score right now is a 7.35.
right, and then a couple 7.2. So I think he's like in the top 4 or so,
Mhm.
hopefully. This is Sean Park from Georgia. He trains at Kim's Cadet Taekwondo. Really reaching up for those front.
His nice finishing power. We're seeing a lot of click in the upper body on the punches, especially.
Oh, Miyako, you use that term every now and then, click. Go ahead and explain it, because I think that sometimes regionally or by club, we have different language. So he gets a 7.37, same score as the athlete before him.
Click. Like at the end of your punches when you twist your hand at the very last second, or if you're rotating the wrist on a single knife hand block. So it's the last kind of rotation and the power coming through at the end of the rotation of the movement, as opposed to early on and then no rotation.
That was pretty good explanation. So oftentimes we think of the last 20% of the movement as where we're really going to execute that force and be able to demonstrate it. So the beginning of the movement should be, or at least like on a block, relaxed, and then the speed builds up and it shows the contrast at the end, usually around the last 20% of the movement.
Right, I think as you learn and practice more, getting this softer and then the acceleration and power at the end, it's not hard power all the way through the move. Getting that contrast in every technique, really.
7.47 for a second. That is huge for
I think
Sean
that's our
Park.
biggest score by a lot on this second form.
Time to run around the living room and celebrate. He gets a 7.417. So on top. This is Ethan Kim from Illinois. He trains at Summit Martial Arts, but in this case, he's at the Team M training space. He's coached by David Kim, as well as An Hui and Long Wen.
So here we are getting some longer stances, but not quite as deep. I feel like this is a hard angle. I'm losing some of that depth as he gets into the back part of the garage. I feel like I'm not seeing as clearly as I might if he was a little bit closer to the camera.
Well, the referees loved it. He gets 7.4.
That's a big score. I think that's the highest, no, tied for the highest score. So we are watching along with all of you, and we don't know what the judges are really looking for, but of course the accuracy, 40% of the score. This is a very long stance. He needs to bend that front knee a little bit more.
So who else? You said he tied for that. Who else got a 7.4? I don't see it in my list here. I thought that was a highest.
Oh, you know, that's the second form. The second form for Anderson Nix. He got a 7.4. I missed the first score. So that might be the highest score then for this form.
I think so.
So yeah, maybe these longer stances, even if not quite a deep enough bend there, but really pushing the length seemed to work for the judges.
Yeah, I like the length of it for sure. That was a good job. So that was Ethan Kim from Illinois. Everybody at Summit cheering him on, I'm sure. So he got a 7.4, and look at that, another one. So he's going to finish with a 7.4, so that is the second highest score, I think, for the division so far.
준비.
This is Yuri Rogachev from Illinois as well. He trains, though, at Flying V Martial Arts with Vincent Vienna. I remember him. He's kind of deceptive, right? Like you don't think he's going to be able to kick up that high, and then all of a sudden,
right? His body doesn't dip at all. And so on those side kicks especially, he's just looking and then his foot goes flying up.
yeah, it's very unexpected and cool at the same time.
ハロ
So he gets a 7.2 for that first Poomsae.
시작!
We are looking for those hips to turn here, not just the shoulders. So can work through turning those hips on the 8 count.
I think he's going to have to get a little lower to do that. It lowers the center of gravity, he'll have a little bit more balance, and then he'll have the ability to rotate. Sometimes he flirts with the idea of longer stances. He just needs to make that a relationship.
Not at his age, Coach Brand.
ハロ
Poomsae.
We all are in long-term relationships with
Correct.
our
We're all
Poomsae.
totally in love.
ー 그녀
I
We're
was really
deeply
good at that.
committed.
We got 7.2. Look at that, 7.27 for the second. So he finishes with a 7.233.
Got a couple others with that same score, so we'll have to take a look at those standings when they pop up.
Right. This is Evan Huang from California. He trains at Elite Taekwondo Center with Master Kwang Wei. Nice reach. Wow. Looks like he feels more comfortable with his side kick than his front kick.
Yeah. I really like that he took his time on those back stances when he was closest to the camera. A lot of athletes have been rushing through it and they don't really quite finish that stance, but he took his time, locked them all in before moving on.
Yeah, he's really patient. Lets himself finish and then connects to the next piece. 7.33. Nice score.
So it's nice to see there have been a few athletes from this dojang starting to, of course, memorize all of the different dojangs around the country from people competing. But I really like this banner in the background. It's a nice view.
Yeah, it's nice to actually put a place to a face, right? We've, over the period of the Summer Poomsae and this and NCTA, we've had a nice glimpse in. See how and where everybody's training.
Right, and at this tournament, because it is a major tournament, it's a 16.0, there's sort of a lot here on our first major tournament. I feel like a lot of the athletes went to dojangs, but you know, at NCTA, maybe a little bit less pressure. We saw a lot of living rooms, outdoor patios, and that was a lot of fun as well.
Yeah, I missed that. My favorite was the athlete who was right next to the swimming pool.
Yeah.
7.37. I don't know, everybody's so close. 7.350. It's the same score as Anderson Nix, I think. Okay, here's our standings. We have Sean Parkin first, followed by Ethan Kim, Evan Huang, Anderson Nix, Steve Lezwari, Kjartan Newton-Ho, Yuri Rogachev, and Jaden Lee. Those are the top 8 spots, and that's what we're looking for. So I got to get over 7.233 to get into that group that's going to the finals.
Yeah, that's already so high. I mean, 7.233. It's so hard with 31 athletes here and we're just going to take the top 8. So I think those scores are going to be mid-7s maybe by the time we finish.
It could be. So this is Bryce Rafi from Minnesota. He trains at the Kukiwan Taekwondo Academy under Young Kim.
So Coach Brand, you have a lot of experience now at this point with competing online, different tournaments, various formats. What are your kind of big takeaways from online tournaments?
I'm very grateful for them. You get 7.13 for the first Poomsae. Because when everything shut down in March, it was like, you know, we were looking forward to going to the World Championships in Denmark. A lot of athletes here were looking forward to going to national championships, and then a whole group of national, I shouldn't say national tournaments, but a whole group of other tournaments, like all the state tournaments, all the local tournaments they were looking forward to having. And so these online tournaments came up so fast. The first one was, I think, the Baudo European online tournament. And it was such a great success that a whole bunch of other organizations wanted to put on their event. And it was just like one after the other up till the time where there's so many at the same time, it's hard to keep track. But what a wonderful problem for athletes, you know, having to pick which one do I want to go to? How can I be selecting the best one for my goals? And so, of course, because we're now having ranking points here in the US, many of the athletes focused on NCTA tournaments, Summer Poomsae tournament. That was 8.0 and NCTA was 4.0. And then this huge one here, 16.0. So for me, my takeaway is gratitude, right? That we have this opportunity to continue training and developing our athletes and ourselves. And looking forward to the next one. Like, I know you and I are going like, okay, what's coming next, right? So it's definitely been very popular and very successful. So that's, I think, on everybody's mind. When do we get to do this again? Can we have an early Christmas present? USAC, can you tell us what it's going to be? This is Ryan Citrom in his famous small space.
Wow.
Look at that. Woo.
Really nice.
Love those side kicks. I think
He has really great kicks.
yeah,
Long legs.
6 feet tall.
You know, at the World Championships, there was an open division for families, for pairs and team, but you had to be from different generations, right? So like a dad and a son. I don't know if the Citroms competed, but they totally should have, because his dad also did great when he competed in the Senior and Master Grand Slam a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and he gets a 7.33. Yeah, there's so many families that train together in Taekwondo. So what a great opportunity for them.
Oh, we saw a hand pop in there.
I know, I just saw that. So go ahead and go now.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you mentioned all these tournaments all over the world, really. There was the
Lance.
Asian one, the Lens one, the Oceania. There are a lot of opportunities, and I think that it can be overwhelming that you have so many you could do. You don't have to travel. It's just the cost of registration. But I also feel like during, you know, quarantine, burnout is a big thing. We might be here for a few more months into next year until, you know, vaccines or whatever your state decides. So don't overburden yourself with tournaments. I think kids, parents, everybody just really pick and choose, I think. And because this was such a big event, the 16.0, this was a big one for the US. And do look for future events that are sanctioned by USATKD if you want those ranking points.
Right, he gets a 7.23 for his second Poomsae. And finishes with a 7.283. I think it's a good time just for everyone to, you know, parents and athletes to meet up with their coaches and come up with maybe a 2021 plan. So you don't
That's
get
a
overwhelmed.
great idea. Instead of New Year's resolutions, come up with 2021 Poomsae goals.
Yeah, that's fun. This is Alfredo Lopez Salas from Texas. He trains at HK Taekwondo and Team Forge. under Hyun Kim and AJ Munoz.
Alfredo has visited 20 countries at his young age of 12, and he also speaks fluent Spanish. It's a lot of traveling. I don't think I really did too much traveling until I got to like college.
Yeah, that's a lot of countries for somebody so young. Just more than 2 countries a year. No, a little less.
Almost.
7.57. Look at that huge score though.
Biggest score so far. Get a good combination of click on the hand techniques and then a pretty decent stance here. Could be just a tad longer, but getting pretty good rotation. I think what's nice to watch here of Alfredo's form is that it's very clean. There's no extra movements or wiggles or settling into stances. It's just very kind of direct on the pathway, clean, hits the mark with power, freezes it, and then moves on to the next move.
That takes a lot of time. It's to have that quick stop, that quick finish, not an extra lot of core movement. That takes a lot of time and patience. It's a big score for 7.43. Yeah, so he finishes with a 7.5. That's at the top, right?
It is the top now.
So this is Dylan Kim from California. He trains with Taekwon Kids under Master Chin Sonu, as well as An Hui and Long Win.
As I'm taking notes of all these forms, I keep boxing the high scores, and I just keep getting more and more boxes as the scores keep going up.
It's going to be so close. Oh, that's a nice front kick.
Yeah, I remember Dylan has just such great kicks. Really shoots up without the torso needing to do extra motion.
And he gets a big score too, 7.4. We talk about that, preset, being relaxed, and then the execution with power. For Dylan, I just want him to relax just a little bit more. And I am a little biased on this because I've always been in that same position as he is, the little bit too much tension. So I can spot it. Takes one to know one in this situation. Great kick though. Look at that. Man, that left front and the right. Both are great. I just want him to just breathe a little bit more, relax a little bit more between movements.
Sometimes we do forget to breathe and it just tenses everything up. Breathing, exhaling, but softening up the draws on the blocks. I see what you mean there on that last couple of bars, especially the last one on the single knife hand blocks.
Yeah, he does that.
Soft.
Yeah, he does that. I think he's going to rock it right to the top. And he gets 7.23. And he finishes with a 7.317. Up next, we have Juno Kim from Arizona Taekwondo. Don't want to mix that up. He's coached by Arnold Chong. Wow, good for him. Look at him trying to really extend those kicks in alignment.
And they held too. Sometimes the kicks, retract really fast, but he was able to hold that side kick right at the camera, which was just really nice.
Yeah, his side kicks are really coming along. The front kicks, he still has a little bit of like a punch shoulder type of appearance. So I think maybe that's the next thing on the list. and he gets a 7.33.
시작.
We have just 8 athletes coming up after Juno, so this is really, really quick.
Yeah, you know, these semis, the 31 athletes down to 8. I think those finals are going to go really fast too after we're used to the prelims of 60 athletes. These semis are nice and small.
Yeah, they're just whipping right by.
He's trying to stay low on these stances, but when he went up to the front kicks, the base leg didn't quite extend. So I feel like he had the benefit of the low, but didn't quite get the high extension as tall as he could if he stood all the way up.
바로.
Right. So I appreciate the low stances, though. Coming out of them, that's a job, really.
It really is.
Straight. It all happens so fast. You know, and there's so many things to think about when we think about the foot position or the posture or the support leg. 7.5. That's a really good score.
Yeah, not many people are able to jump up that much on the second form, so that's a good job to Juno.
Okay, now we have our last 2 competitors here. This is Enoch Choi here in Connecticut. It's world champion Taekwondo Fairfield. He's coached by Master Gunn Soo Kim and KJ Ha. Oh, good extension on the first one, but it really pulled him over a little bit. And he tried to save it as best as he could because he really wanted to extend that other one. Nice front kick speed on the left side. Well, I think he could have amped it up a little bit on the end because he definitely has the strength to do that.
Yeah, I felt like when he was up close to the camera, it came across so nice and strong, and then we lost just a little at the end. But judges didn't seem to think so because look at that score of a 7.53.
Yeah, they like that whole thing. We just want more.
It's true. Every time I'm like, just go higher. Why aren't you getting an 8? Let's go. But all of these forms, they're doing so well.
Yeah, if I had a 7.53, I'd be like jumping around the house, which is what he was probably doing, I hope.
Yeah.
Every time you get a score like 7.53 in division like this, just take a lap.
Yeah, that's, I think, the second highest score by just a few hundredths of a point so far in a tough, packed division here. So I think he should feel really good. Nice deep stance there in the 8 count. A lot of really nice components.
Yeah, when he's close to the camera, he looks great. Almost vertical there with his posture. See, I almost feel like he slows down at the end.
I wonder if I really like it when he's so close to the camera. I think if they started closer, the camera closer to the back, the mat, so that he was bigger in the screen the whole time, I would feel that power come through a little more. But very clean, good patience, and another big score here, 7.47.
And he's finishing at a 7.5, so he should be safe. Look at that. There's only, one other person with that score?
Yeah,
here's his standing. So here's Alfredo Lopez Salas in first, followed by Enoch Choi, Sean Park, Juno Kim, Ethan Kim, Evan Huang, Anderson Nix, and Dylan Kim. So what's our new number to beat?
7.317.
That is big.
It's high. And we still have how many left?
We have 7. And I remember the prelims, it was more like 7.1s, right? 7s. We thought that was high because some of them say it was more like 6.9, that area right there.
Yeah, I think people definitely leveled up over the last few months from the summer to now here in the late fall, winter. So good job. Everybody's working really hard. We're seeing that work that you're putting in.
Yeah, how can you not with all this at your fingertips? This is Anthony Doe. He trains here at Sacramento Taekwondo Club.
Now remember, him from the summer Poomsae because they have this living room space here. I wonder, where the table is and if he's going to kick the lights. Oh. And he also has that painting in the background that looks like you're painting, Coach Brand.
That's amazing. What a coincidence.
Nice finish.
Let's see how he does. It's Anthony Do from Sacramento, California.
Ooh.
10.63. Oh, wow. That's got to feel good. We might see a lot of this with our last 7 competitors. These high scores popping up.
Nice patience.
Yeah, clearly working on the pace.
So with your athletes, Coach Brand, because Anthony is one of your athletes, right? How do you train with them for these tournaments? Do they take a bunch of videos and send them to you and you pick one? How do you kind of interact with the athletes for this kind of a tournament?
Sometimes I can peek in when they're recording, right? Like there can be multiple devices set up. I can peek in as we're doing it and help them, coach them through it. That seems to work pretty well.
Yeah, that's great. If you don't have too many athletes, I think you can do that. But if you had a whole bunch, it would be hard. That would be so many hours.
Well, so it depends on what the state home order was at that time too. 7.73.
Wow.
That's a good score too. Depends on where we are at the time. Sometimes it's been a little bit luckier. We've been able to do it in the dojo. 7.683 to finish, and that's, I think, the high score so far, right?
New high score.
This is Cooper Canoon from Kansas, also training with us here in Sacramento. So he's one I can peek in on as he's doing it.
Looks like he got a new fresh haircut for this tournament. Nice control on the retraction. And he's pretty tall. He has these long, lanky limbs that he's able to control. It gives nice volume, and I like the garage. It just feels a little tighter. He takes up more space in the camera, and I feel like I can feel the power better than some of these
and
big
that
open
garage,
spaces.
I know the perspective is weird, but I think it's about 15 feet high. So he's actually 7 feet tall.
Big score.
7.73. Oh my goodness. Enjoy these big scores while you get them, guys. That's wonderful.
He finished 5th, I think, in the summer of Poomsae. So let's see, his 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6th or so in the semis here. So trying to hold on, make sure he gets himself into the finals. And we keep saying, top gold, silver, whatever, but at this tournament, there are no medals. There's just ranking points. So there's not that harsh cutoff at 5th place that there are for the medal standard. Not top 8 do get an increasing number of points. Semis competitors all get ranking points. And of course, the prelims also get a smaller number of ranking points.
And I think also a very nice certificate.
Oh, see, I have in place. I wouldn't know that you get the certificates.
Very nice. This is Cooper Canoon from Kansas, finishing up his table pole jump. So he had a big score, the biggest score actually so far, 7.73, which was the same score Anthony Do got for his second Poomsae. So let's see if he's able to boost higher. And isn't that funny? They tied because they just swapped scores. So he finishes up with the same score, 7.683. We'll have to see how that goes with the presentation when we see the next standings. This is Mikhail Choi from California. He trains at Eagles Taekwondo under Jung Jin.
Really nice side kicks.
Oh, a little low on that front kick. I expected him to come up a little higher. He tends to dip a little bit on the right one.
Some movement on that back leg, bending just a little bit on those double punches at the last bar.
Wait, we watched so many Poomsae together, starting to see the exact same thing. But you know what? It doesn't matter because it gets 7.87.
They just keep getting higher and higher.
4.
It's true. Sometimes on the side kicks, you'll be like, nice reach. And I definitely heard that in my head. So we're connecting on a Poomsae level, Coach Brand.
Stop this. Yeah, I'm thinking about the scores, and we still have 4 more athletes after this. And we're going to get to that 8. I mean, where are we going?
I don't think have we gotten an 8 in this Cadet Junior Grand Slam yet?
So,
I don't think so. This could be it.
Maybe it's time. Wow,
Let's go, cadets. I see a lot of these elbows, the first of the last 3 techniques, that don't quite make it to chin, but I don't think the judges are taking off a major for that. Because the scores have not been dropping, even though they're hitting at, shoulder height instead of...
I don't even know if they're noticing that or they're giving them a minor, what they're doing with that. It's 7.67. .767. So you got a huge score on the first one. So this is Elliot Kim, also from California, training at Eagles Taekwondo under Jung Jin. A little wide on some of these steps.
Interesting transition there.
Yeah, some of the transitions are definitely different.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of put my finger on what exactly, if he is staying low and then coming up on the pivot or what it was, but I would look back at that. I mean, it's a very good score, 7.6. And I think the things that we're starting to pick up on these very top level athletes aren't like accuracy things per se, because they're getting really great scores. It's just kind of overall performance. When we're watching it, we go, what was that?
Yeah,
It's just little things.
Yeah, huh? What was it?
And you want that in a good way. I can't remember who it was that had like kicks that just popped like crazy. We were like, whoa, that was awesome. That's what you want. You want something that the judges go, you're the only person that does it like that.
Yeah.
That was amazing. And you had talked to Coach Brand about we're going to have like Poomsae superlatives or something, like best Poomsae hair, best not dojang space. So we're going to think of them. We'll have them for finals. Maybe.
Yeah, for sure. Instead of like the Emmys or the Oscars or the Tonys, I was thinking we could have the Poomsies. And we could have categories like fiercest spheres. Crabback definitely gets that.
But
one.
that's no competition.
Coolest
She obviously is going to win that one.
Yeah. The coolest setting, whoever's like was that pool, that swimming pool, I can't remember. 7.63. Those are a pair of good scores. So sometimes athletes get one good one and then a little bit lower, but that's 7.617.
Very consistent.
To be.
준비.
This is Eric Chua from California. He trains it with Black Tiger Taekwondo, and here with Master Kwangyo Bae. Good reach. Ooh. See, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right? It just punches you in the face. It's like, whoa, what was that?
It's so great when the body doesn't move at all and their leg just comes flying at their nose.
It's hard because a lot of people have to like swing it up a little bit. You know, they have to use their whole body to get that leg up there. His leg just went all by itself. So he gets a 7.47. Definitely to highlight the front kicks. Do you have some categories you're thinking of
시작.
for our Poomsies?
I like best hair. We have to figure out what kind of category. I feel like I want like best kick.
Yeah, best front kick, sure.
Best front kick, best side kick, cleanest transition or something. That one's hard though. Have to think about that one.
Yeah, but if you get that one, you're really top drawer. That's a tough one to get.
Best Poomsae face, resting Poomsae face award. Best Poomsae hair click.
Here, oh my God.
He has a great Poomsae hair click.
Yeah,
바로
you did right
Best
there.
Poomsae ponytail for guys only.
슛.
I think there's only one, maybe two divisions, two categories for the Poomsae Awards for hair. Spears. Yeah, Spears. Yeah, 7.47.
She's not even in this round though, Coach Brand. She was in the youth division, I think.
That's what's so cool. That's what makes it so memorable. 7.467 when you're still thinking about somebody there and like nowhere around. So this is Sean So from California, also with Eagles Taekwondo.
시작.
We have a few Eagles here in the top 10 or so athletes.
Yeah, it's like an aviary out here. It's like, wait for it.
Had to click. You know what I think it is? I think they drop their weight and then do the shift into the stance rather than standing up and then twisting, like for the walking stance transition. So they twist low and pop their body up instead of coming up and then twisting.
Well, that works.
Wow,
That
big
works.
score.
Wow.
That's our high so far, maybe for the tournament even.
Yeah, I was just climbing. We did have one other 7.9 in the tournament. The first day, I think.
And these last two, Sean So and Eric Gunn, they go back and forth kind of round to round, tournament to tournament. So I'm excited here to see who gets the higher score today.
He's been very patient here. 2018 silver medalist, looking really strong. But Eric Gunn coming up next, our current 2020 national team member.
Right, you said silver medalist, but you mean world's
Oh yeah,
silver
world,
medalist.
yeah, 2020 World Championship silver medalist. Yeah, that was a great little bout. His last final with Korea.
Show.
All right, I'm here. I'm like right next to my screen. I'm waiting for this score.
I'm gonna move some things so I don't get too excited. Oh, 7.83, a little bit of a drop.
Still going to be the highest score though.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's a nice little gap. 7.867.
Okay, here we go.
So our new number is coming up. So here are our standings with Sean So in first, followed by Mikhail Choi, Cooper Canoe, Anthony Joe, Elliot Kim, Alfredo Lopez Salas, Enoch Choi, and Eric Chu with a score of 7.467. Wow, that's rough to have to get higher than a 7.467 to get into the final round.
I think everyone looked really good though. I think this is a nice strong division. Again, we're starting, at the high sixes, 6.9, I think might be our lowest score for this whole round. So that's very impressive. I think it just goes to show that the talent level in the country has really gone up over the last few years. And these young athletes are putting in so much work. And it's hard. How do they internalize all these things that they need to be doing? But they're doing it, and they're doing it so well.
And this is our final competitor of the semifinal round in the male cadet black belt division. This is Eric Gunn from Apex Tigers Martial Arts in New Jersey.
시작.
And he's coached by his father, Master Guido Gunn. I'm always struck by how quiet his body is. No extra movement anywhere. And then
Right,
really
it's so
fast,
calm.
really fast in his execution.
You
바로
have just such good core strength and understanding of how to use your core to keep it that calm.
What do you think? Is this it?
I don't know. Oh, we're so
Oh,
close.
Wow. Okay, just a tad under Sean So's form. Let's see if he can boost it up.
시작.
Or if he gets the same score as his first form, that might be enough.
And this is just a semifinal round here, so this isn't going to decide the points. That's going to be the final round.
Right. It's funny with that black dark screen behind him, we almost get the back view because we
Mirror.
see the reflection.
Yeah.
Really patient, good understanding of connection and then tempo.
바로
Nice finish
Sure.
there for Eric
Shut up.
Gunn.
교내.
Okay, everybody in New Jersey is just waiting on the edges of their seat along with just about everybody else in America. Let's see, 7.87.
Ooh. Is it enough? Drum roll. We need a drum
This
roll.
score higher than 7.867.
Oh my gosh.
What happened here?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. So Eric Gunn gets it because of the presentation bump there over Sean So, Mikel Cho, Cooper Canoon, Anthony Doe, Elliot Kim, Alfredo Lopez Salas, and Enoch Choi. Those are the athletes we're going to see in the final round of the cadet male black belt division. Super exciting. These guys, all of them are so great.
And that cutoff ended up being a 7.5. That is quite high.
Yeah, that's hard to imagine that that's where it was. That's just crazy. So I hope you all enjoyed that fantastic competition in the male cadet black belt division. And now we're moving on to the cadet male red belt division. Here's our referees that were on board for this division.
준비.
Up first, we have Micah Tu from California. He trains at
시작!
KS Choi Taekwondo Center with Daniel Choi and Master Megan Yee.
And this is, like you mentioned, the red belts semi-final round here for the cadets. And they are going to be doing two forms. They're going to do Paul Chong followed by Chiljong. And there are 13 of them. So not so terrible a cutoff, 13 to 8 here.
Oh yeah, this is just gonna zip by.
And so because this is a major event, with the pathways to try and make the national team. That's why
Baudo.
we have the red belts, because they might be not aging up, leveling up, like getting their black belts and going into the next division, and there's a certain amount of points that carry over for that.
And we're starting off with a score of 6.73.
And I thought about that because Micah was so strong. He's so clean. It looks like he could be in that black belt division.
시작!
You know, we just finished up the cadets, and here he is the red belt. So as soon as he gets a black belt, he's going into that division we just saw, and he looks strong, like he's ready for it.
Yeah, that'd be pretty exciting for him. I'm hoping he's thinking, yeah, I'm ready for that. Let's do it.
Gotta watch those horse stances going towards the back to make sure the toes are in line, so that it's not, we can really tell when they're going to the back and if one foot is slightly in front of the other one, but good power.
That's Micah 2 from California. And on second Poomsae, another score of 6.73. He finishes up with a score of 6.73.
준비. 시작.
So up next we have Krish Parimi from Connecticut. A lot of athletes come from this club at World Champion Taekwondo in Fairfield. He's coached by Master Gunn Kim and KJ Ha.
Nice long stance and a good extended back leg here, but we're not getting hip rotation. So that's the next thing to add here is hip and shoulder core rotation on that 8 count.
Yeah, I like the idea of those long stances though. Really show off those long legs. Got to work on a little bit. Learning how to pivot, maybe not on the heels, but the ball of the feet. And then pulling back without that heel popping up. Highlight of his Poomsae, definitely his front stance.
Yeah, we don't get a ton of those. So it's nice to see that nice long locked out front
Right.
stance.
6.57 for the first Poomsae.
시작.
Want to watch the height of those. The back fist should come up.
A little bit higher.
Yeah.
The filter. That what
The
you're
filter him, yeah, right about the nose.
Right. Just under. I was thinking the same thing. They were just almost looked like they were going out about middle block height.
Yeah. Picked up his foot a couple of times on the transition on both sides, so I don't know if the judges will take that as a major or he slid there for that last Baudo to get there to his mark. We'll see what the accuracy comes in here. He took some liberties on the transitions.
That's a good way to put it. 6.63. We saw that happen, you know. Krish, we got to be careful. Finishes with a 6.6. Aaron Hong's up next. He's from California, trains with QE Taekwondo, and he trains with Master Robert Vargas.
A little up and down motion in the transitions. You want to stay nice and low, grounded, and keep this front stance nice and deep. So his draws are a little bit robotic in that he pauses kind of at the chamber and then shoots it, or on the like middle block draws, it's out there in the air, it pauses and then swings. So you want to smooth those draws out, smooth all the way through, click the power at the end, no pause in the middle.
Yeah, he has the main idea of the Poomsae, like where to go and what the technique is. So now the detail work begins, right? And that's where the fun is.
Right, it's a never-ending process to go through. The techniques constantly make them better, stronger, cleaner.
It's just like any other endeavor that you want to become very good at. It's just layer by layer. So here we are. He understands the Poomsae technique, it looks like, and now it's just like, okay, let's go to the next level. Do a little work there, and then we'll get to the next level.
And of course, these videos, these will be all, of course, on YouTube. You can go back and watch all of the other divisions. So go and watch the black belts doing this form to see kind of what they do. What do those top finalists do? What can you pick up on?
Yeah, right. So what, there's a gap probably between many of these athletes and then the highest scores. Like, so what's creating that gap? That's what they have to go back and study and explore with their coaches. When you get to 6.03, that was a nice jump up from that 5.5 in the first.
Yeah, big jump.
And he ends up with a 5.767. This
준비
is Sean Teo from New York. He trains at East Taekwondo with
시작
Chen Chao Liu. Nice front kick to start off, really pushing up.
This is great. He says for hobbies outside of Taekwondo, but he says besides Taekwondo, which is a must daily in all caps, it's a must. But outside of that, he likes to play video games and also read.
Oh, good for him, balancing it out. I think maybe, wow, he's got a lot of good things going on. He's strong, the front kicks can go up if he just straightens his support leg. But first step for him, make these stances a little bit longer. Drop your hips down a little bit lower. And
Yeah, I feel like we saw him in the summer of Poomsae and he's about a foot taller already.
yeah. That's Sean Teo out of New York at East Taekwondo, getting 6.73 in his first form.
준비
Oh, look, they have a USA TKD
See,
banner in the background there.
I was looking at that. I was looking at it in the last division too. Eric Gunn had a white flag, USA
Yeah.
TKD. I'm looking for one of those.
Whoever has the hookup, we've got to get Coach
Yeah, I've
Brand a
been talking
flag.
to people trying to get that hookup for that flag right there.
It's just a slight lean forward on the torso on some of these moves. So a little bit of a hunch or a little bit of a lean. You want to keep that back nice and straight.
바로
Some really nice components to his form.
And he definitely has a
Sure.
lot to build on
Put
there.
편리
So you got a 6.73 for the first one.
And that's tied for first so far.
Yeah. And now look at this, 7.13. So in the lead here, in the first place for Sean Teo. The score is 6.933.
USA Taekwondo family, how y'all doing? This is your Minister of Information, Sherman Nelson, and I am one half of the Chopping It Up Homeboys. I am here today with Insaf Imtiav. Did I say that right?
Yes.
I am very impressed with myself. No, Insaf, very happy to have you today. Thank you for taking time out of your day to talk with us. How you doing today?
Really good.
Good, good. Listen, I wanted to, before you compete in the Poomsae Grand Slam, man, we wanted to get to know you, ask a few questions, let our Taekwondo family meet you. Is that cool with you?
Yes. Absolutely.
Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna give these to you in rapid fire succession. This is a new process I'm trying out. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. How old are you?
I'm currently 13 years old.
What school do you go to?
Humberton Waldorf School.
What dojang do you train at?
Tiger Kicks Martial Arts.
What's your grandmaster or instructor's name?
Master Jung Jae Kim.
What belt are you?
I'm currently a first degree black belt.
How long have you been doing taekwondo?
3 years.
What's your favorite thing about taekwondo?
Competing.
What's your least favorite thing about taekwondo?
Breaking board techniques.
Favorite Poomsae?
Taeguk 6.
Everybody. Least favorite Poomsae?
Taeguk number. Let's see. Taeguk number 4.
Taeguk 4, Taeguk Sajan. All right. Favorite kick?
Tornado kick.
Least favorite kick?
Side kick.
Favorite dessert?
Brownies.
Do you have any siblings?
No.
You're an only child?
Yes.
Nice. That means you get it all. You don't have to share with anybody. That's very neat. So that's our fast question round. All right, you did a fantastic job. Ding, ding, ding. Tell me about the school that you go to. I heard that your school is a little different than a traditional school. Your academic school, that is, not your taekwondo school.
Yeah. So our school basically demotes using electronic devices, and we do everything with our hands. And yeah, we do a lot of art and music mostly.
Okay.
They focus more on hands-on skills and academics, really.
Okay. How do you like that?
It's pretty good. I definitely want more academics, but I think it's really nice. The way
All right, now is that the only school you've gone to?
No. I've been to Montessori schools before.
Okay. So you're used to working with less structured, more freedom.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. What's your favorite thing about school? What do you like most about school?
Math and engineering.
Oh, nice. So you do all your math work by hand? You have to carry out all your equations?
Yeah.
Just with your pencil in? That's good. That's good for your brain. It might not be fun, but it's good for your brain, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay. What was it like preparing for a virtual taekwondo event?
A lot of practicing for sure. Workout and some extra classes too.
Okay. Which do you like more? In-person tournaments or virtual tournaments?
In person.
Why?
I think it's better with all my teammates. We can encourage each other. I like the area. It's more, I don't know, comfortable, I guess.
Okay. And you get the smell of the mats. That doesn't smell like the dojang. It smells like the tournament. And the tournament, I tell people all the time, the tournament has a feel and it has a smell. And if you've been out on those mats, you know that smell and you know that feel. All right. Well, listen, man, thank you for taking time out of your day. I appreciate it. Is there one thing that you would tell anybody who is contemplating starting taekwondo? What would you tell them?
Definitely never stop trying. Don't give up, because even if you're not as good in the beginning, like I was, if you just keep on trying, you'll get really good.
Nice. And you're really good now?
Not really good, but I think I'm pretty good.
But you're pretty good? Okay, I like a little modesty. You're probably very good. Listen, we wish you the best of luck at this event and all of your training and all of your endeavors. Good luck with school. And hopefully in 2021, we get to see each other like face to face. That'd be cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. All right, man. Thank you again for your time and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, I got one more thing for you. All right. You got chopped. Oh, and he just shrugged it off. You see how you just shrug it off? I like you. Nothing phases you. I like that. You got a steel resolve. I like that. Peace.
See ya.
This is
Oh.
Imtayaz. Great name. So looks like Insaf did the second one first. And so because of that, I think he will be given a major deduction. Am I right, Miyako?
Right. So we saw this in an earlier episode, is that if they do the 2 forms that are right for that round, but in the flipped order, they still get scored, but they will take a major deduction on each form. So that's minus 0.3 from the total score of each form.
And that's a shame because, you know, we want every athlete to have the benefit of like just starting off with the I don't know, I guess basically a flat score, right? Not at any kind of disadvantage. So this is why many of us, we check and recheck and then triple check the order of the Poomsae. And then after we're done, we make sure the file is, you know, labeled correctly. We get to a score of 4.33.
And I think this is another case. The last episode that we saw this, I think the order was Kumgang and then Sajang. And here again, 8 is before 7. And sometimes we think, oh, the lower form should go first. But
Right.
It's whatever that random draw is, that's the order you have to do it in.
That's a good point. And I think for some athletes, they might have read it right, but then said, oh, well, they probably meant that a different way, right? They probably made a mistake, but they didn't. So just make sure and check, recheck, check some more.
And this is a great time, too, to ask your coach. Your coach should be able to help you with this. Make sure that you're doing the right forms, the right order. Check those Dropbox links to make sure everything is going to go through so that you don't get any extra deductions. But we got to give him props because he's doing this outside on cement.
In the wind. Yeah, he's a warrior. Doing it out there like that in the cold. And he's in Pennsylvania.
That must have been so cold.
Yeah, 4.23. You didn't have a parka on or anything. Like that.
We need winter Poomsae uniforms.
How do you guys layer up out there? You got a 4.283 total score.
준비.
This is Wenduo Zhu from Texas,
시작.
training at SJ Lee Taekwondo with Master Sungjin Lee.
And I watched the height of some of these hand techniques. They're drifting. So it looks like he started at the right solar plexus height and then it finished up, you know, at shoulder height. So you just have to keep that nice and clean.
Do you see that foot pop up on both sides on that transition? That's super cool. I like how he did it. You don't get to do it, but it was cool. So erase that part. You got to erase these on those 2 next time. Got to keep that foot low to the ground as it comes in, just like you did right there. So your division does this Poomsae, right, Miyako?
Yes.
So what are the best parts of this form? You
You
thought
know,
I was gonna say, what is a challenging part, huh? But I'm gonna ask
Yeah,
you. What is the
well-
fun part?
My favorite part, I think, is the back stance to front stance transition.
What a funny one to pick. He gets a 6.17. You mean at the end? At the very end?
Yeah, well, you do it 4 times. You do it on the first move, you do it again in the middle, and then you do it twice in the last section.
Yeah, that's a lot of nice core turn, right? Where you can really explore how to get more power.
Right, if you can throw that hip, extend the lock on the front stance, but keep that head level as you're going through the transition. I think it's just something people don't think about a lot, and it's a nice way to kind of pop if you can get it.
Yeah, my students were working on that last night, just those first 2 steps, just learning how to turn and make it look really clean.
How to get the connection, and then you do it again, I think, in what form do you do it again? In Shipjin, maybe? Yeah, Shipjin.
차렷.
And this is Wenduo Zhu from Texas finishing up. He got a 6.17 for his first Poomsae. And gets a 6.23.
So again, this division, we have 13 athletes.
How many are we going to take to the finals, Miyako?
We're going to take the top 8. Oh, look, here we go. Here are those first 6 scores.
Yeah.
Sean in first with that massive 6.933. Then Micah, Krish, Wenduo, Aaron, and Insaf.
This is Kaylin
준비.
Tillman from North Carolina, trains at Pure Taekwondo Center with Bernard Posey.
시작.
Nice big jump. We got to control those elbows during that jumping motion so they don't flail out to the side. Oh, a little low on this one. Got to get up a little higher.
And just got to work on rotating those hips. Turn the hips all
You
8
got-
count.
So where should that slow motion punch go, Miyako?
The punch.
Uppercut, I mean.
Oh, it should come all the way up to breaking the chin, so above the shoulder.
Right. So not to the philtrum, but to the chin. So up higher, definitely, than that spot there. So that'll be a little minor deduction. He had the right intent, but just the wrong targeting.
프로.
Oof, nice finish. So that's Caleb Tillman from North Carolina at a Pure Taekwondo Center, getting 6.27.
Outside of Taekwondo, he says he loves to go on challenging mountain bike trails. I think out there in North Carolina, there's probably some
시작.
good trails. They have some mountains up there, down there.
He's really trying to amp up his power.
Yeah, he does have a good finish to the hand techniques, but sometimes there's a little extra motion. The head or the fingers not quite together on those open techniques. So there's a lot of potential here. Just has to clean up, keep the torso nice and straight. But great power.
프로.
And he's 13, so he has another year to keep working in this cadet division.
차렷.
Yeah, he's tall.
How
마피아.
long are people red belts usually, Coach Brand, before they test for black belt?
I think depends on who their coach, their master instructor is. 6.57. It could be quite a long period of time because the master instructor really wants to make sure that that athlete is going to be a good, high quality black belt. But he finishes up with a 6.417. This is Christian Harris from California. He trains with QE Taekwondo under Master Robert Vargas.
Again, a little bit more attention to the punches, location, and height as they come forward on the first bar for Christian. Watch that double pivot on the 270 rotation. Good punch power, though. So here's that transition I was just talking about, the back stance to front stance transition. He just did 2 of them. And you want to make sure that you're stepping forward. That back stance to front stance, the front foot should move forward a whole foot. But Christian gets a 6.3, which is a pretty high score so far for this division. Again, we're 13 athletes taking the top 8. So I think you just have to beat 5 or so. So he has some transition work. He just needs to practice on that first bar there on 7. When you do the front kick, you want to just switch your feet. Don't step back so you pull no dragging the foot back into place. Pretty decent scissor block there. You got to watch that transition again. Keep the heel down on that big 180 turn. Make sure we don't have any extra pre-steps, but the power that you have, Christian, is really good. So you just need to make sure that the feet are all clean so that it matches the top half of your body, which has that nice power. And Christian got a 6.3 on his first form. Here, just a little lower, a 6.13 on the second form. Let's take a look at that combined score of 6.217.
Welcome back. This is the 2020 USA Taekwondo Poomsae Grand Slam. It's the online edition, and I'm here with Arnav Nair. You competed in the Summer Poomsae, and now you're competing in the Poomsae Grand Slam. So you've had some experience now with these online competitions. So first, what do you miss most about the live competitions, the in-person ones?
Well, most of all, I miss directly performing in front of the judges.
Yeah, judges want to be right there giving you their scores. I totally get that. I love that. How about, what do you like the most about the online Poomsae competitions?
Online, the best part would be that you have an infinite amount of chances to retake your video.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot of work to me, do an infinite amount of time, but you're right, and it works. That works out well. I love that. Yeah, that's a great point. Okay, I know that you compete online a lot in Poomsae, and you competed live, but what do you do for fun when you're not doing Poomsae?
Well, I play 2 instruments, drums and viola. But my most favorite thing to do is play with my sister.
Yeah, I love that. It's so interesting because the drums I play a little bit, and I've always wanted to learn to play the viola. So that's I'm gonna have some lessons from you down the line, because that sounds blast to me. So, well, Arnav, I just want to say good luck to you in this up and coming competition. I know you're gonna do great. So coming up next, get ready. It's Arnav Nair. He's going to be competing right here, right now. Good luck to you, Arnav.
Thank you.
준비.
This is Arnav
시작.
Nair. Coming to us from Illinois. You can see that White Tiger is their school. Coached by Shik Lee. It's a pretty good extension on the front stance, but leaning forward on the torso just a little bit. He's crossing his hands a little bit weird on his front kicks. You want to just have them comfortably on your torso. Don't kind of cross them all over the place. His arms are so long, he's probably like, where do I put them? He's just growing so fast.
바로. 자리. 경례. 대장.
This is Arnav, and he gets a 6.57 on his first form.
시작.
And outside of Taekwondo, he has some fun sport hobbies he likes to do. Does outdoor games like badminton and cricket.
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 Oh, that's awesome. I want to learn.
Oh, you got a nice high knee drive there. We got to make sure those punches get all the way down to your ankle at the same time.
Oh, I don't know. I just think he just needs to own it. Like, just go for it. Like, every now and then I see his head like facing down, right? So just look up. Just enjoy it. Have fun. You're fine. Look great.
자리. 경례. 대장.
Yeah, you're strong. Just show it off. It's like, thump your chest a little bit out there. 6.33. Everybody's learning. Everybody's a little self-conscious, for sure. Just don't show it. Just like, I got this. Have that air of confidence out there. Is that hard for you, Miyako, to show that you're super confident?
준비.
Ooh, Lucas 10.
I
시작.
remember Lucas from the Summer Poomsae. I like this living room space here. I think I internalize all of my stress and anxiety. But I can look pretty confident on the outside, but on the inside, I'm very nervous.
I remember Master Southwick saying, you know, sparring folks get hurt on the outside. Poomsae people get hurt on the inside. Our feelings are in there somewhere. I haven't found mine yet, but that's what I hear. So Lucas trains with Kim Boya in California at Taekwondo Kids. So when you're this size, those small amount of mats really do the trick.
Yeah.
0.77.
That's looking at all my scores here. I think that's the highest score for this form. Yeah. So we had Sean Teo, who went 4th. He jumped all the way up to a 7.13 on the second form. Let's see if Lucas here can also bump himself up.
Yeah, that 7 is huge in this division. If he can stay just on the mat, that's great. Little heel pops as he makes that transition. He's got to keep that heel down, that rear foot heel.
But overall, his accuracy is pretty good. He's a very good understanding of the form.
That was Lucas Tan from California, and he gets a 6.83. Nice boost to his score. So he'll finish with a nice solid 6.8.
And I think that puts him into second place for now, but we have 3 athletes left.
Yes, the first is Paul Sumethaswaran from Texas. He trains at SJ Lee Taekwondo.
You know, a lot of these athletes on their fun facts, they say that they do cubing, and I couldn't figure that out. I was like, what is this cubing? And I think it's Rubik's cubing.
Yeah. They have all these like variations, right? Like a 4x4 cube and a 5x5, a 6x6. Some you do with your toes.
Well, some of them are like speed, like how fast can you do it?
It's a big deal, like how it's made, right? How it's going to rotate and pivot.
Yeah.
How crazy. Because you can't go fast, you know, without braking unless it's made of this super cool stuff that I don't know anything about, but here it's really neat. So he gets a 6.6 for his first one. I think we have a lot of those Rubik's people. I don't know. Do they call themselves cubers? It seems like a funny name. Hey, what do you do? I'm a cuber.
But it is. That's what they submit as their, like, you know, hobby outside of Taekwondo. They're cubers. Or they don't say they're cubers. They do cubing. They play cubing. Speed cubing. That's what the youth do, Coach Brand. The youths.
The youth.
He needs to watch his back position just a little. He's a little bit hunched.
I know. I wonder why that is. Like, is his shoulders just upper cross, you know, or kind of lean forward? You know, is that part of it? It doesn't look like it's part of his physical, you know, natural skill set. Almost looks like he's bringing his shoulders up or his head down to create that. He gets a nice score, though, 6.8 for the second one.
Yeah, I think just relaxing the shoulders, hopefully a little bit, will help them drop, relax. But a big score, 6.7.
Right. So how many do we have here total? 13?
13.
Okay.
Last 2.
This is Moshe Liu from California. He also trains at QE Taekwondo along with his fellow athlete Christian Harris.
You're gonna watch these punches a little bit. They're a little rotated at finishing position and not quite center line. That'll be something nice to work with. Just record it a bunch of times. Play around with how you finish those punches coming forward.
Looks like he's trying to go for some rhythm here. You have to make sure that we don't bounce kind of as we do the Poomsae, where we bring our whole body over and then our whole body over to the other side. Yeah.
Baudo.
So his first form is going to get a score of 6.07. But, you know, pole jump is new for these athletes at red belt. It's very challenging Poomsae for them. Because it moves on a line different than every other form, right? It has a jumping kick twice in the form. So there's a lot going on.
And with the two forms that they have to do, 8 and 7, these are the two highest, most difficult forms that they know. They just, they just learn them basically.
The pressure of it all, it's just almost staggering, right? So then that's good that they had multiple opportunities to record themselves. But really, I mean, some of these athletes may have just learned this form like last month or last week. I know I had athletes that wanted to compete in this and they learned it a little bit on the quick.
Right, it does help to take your time, really make sure you understand the moves, talk with your coaches, watch some of these videos. It's a lot of videos and hopefully just, talk with your coach, talk with your teammates and keep learning. There's always so much to learn.
And he gets 6.27 for the second Poomsae. So here are standings in the cadet male semifinals. So the score we need to beat here is a 6.217 to get into the top 8, but we only have one athlete left, right, Miyako?
Yep, just one left. Yep. Again, it's a division of 13.
Right, so you have Sean Teo, Lucas Tan, and Micah Tu leading the group at this point. And this is Harry Amin. I'm guessing he's from Connecticut. What do you think?
I think that's a good guess.
Mm-hmm. Coached by Master Gunsu Kim and KJ Ha.
Has a really solid stance here, but is lacking, again, the hip rotation. So that'll be the thing to just kind of give him some bonus points. Wow, check out these front kicks. Nice deep front stance.
Wow, yeah, he's trying. Too bad that support leg's not quite straight, because that would be gorgeous.
Nice finish. Yeah, good punch. Nice extension of the back leg on the front stance. So that gives a really nice long line to that last move.
What a good score, 6.97. That could definitely impact things.
Yeah, that's the highest score for this form.
Yep. Ooh, very good. Really nice height. Good foot position on the right side.
A couple of his draws are a little bit small, the volume. So I think just reaching out on his arms a little bit more, standing up nice and tall on some of the kicks will help.
I like his level stances. So he's going from side to side, his head stays low. Yeah, from step to step, doesn't go up and down. Looks like he's done a lot of good work on that. So I'm expecting a pretty high score here. He's going to flip things around a little bit in the standings. Look at that, 7.1.
Wow.
That's a big score in this division. And the only 7, right?
No, so Sean went fourth. He had a 7.13, but this is a combined higher score.
7.033. So here's the standings now. Harry Amin in first place, followed by Sean Teo, Lucas Tan, Micah Tu, Paul Smethasorn, Chris Parimi, Arnav Nair, and Caleb Tallman. Those are our top 8 that will move on to the final round in the cadet male red belt division. Up next, we have the male junior black belt division. Well, this should be a lot of fun. Here's our hardworking referee team for this division.
Right, so this is the semis, and we have, it looks like 21 guys in this division. 21.
Okay, this is Mario Portello to start. He's from California. I remember these kicks. Just
front kicks.
Coming out of nowhere.
Wow. I'm gonna put a little star here for my Poomsaes so I remember his kicks.
Yeah, maybe a nominee for the Poomsaes Award.
Yeah! Wow.
I have to get my gown if we're gonna do that.
Oh, we're going full formal, huh?
It happened. Nice power level for Mario Portello.
This is crazy. He's first. So that means out of the top 21 here that made it to the semis, he was in that lowest score from the prelims, but a 7.4 is where we are starting.
Wow.
So that first form, Yukjong, and now the second form, Koryo. We're going to get a lot of kicks here. Didn't quite get a good rechamber in between that double side kick, but he's pushing the height on all of these kicks. Wow.
Really nice front kicks there. Let's see here. Whew. Going for it.
Gotta watch those knees on the horse stance as you do the single left hand punch, that the knees don't turn with your punch. Those knees should stay nice and open, but the side kicks are just impressive.
He's thinking about his side kicks and front kicks. He can't think of everything. Wow.
You got to do it 100 billion times until your body can do it without you thinking about it.
This is a good form for him.
They were both good forms.
So Mario gets a score of 7.07 on this one.
Took a couple of dings on accuracy, but still a good score overall.
Ends up with a 7.233. So this is Matthew Raw from New York. He trains at, is this right? Agape Black Belt Center under Master Suji Kong.
Yeah. I think his coach is Master John Ra, who I think is his dad. I think his sister is Haley Ra.
Right, so I'm reorganizing my notes here, so I'll be right back with you in seconds.
And Matthew, I think, does freestyle. And so nice to see him here making it to the semis for recognized Poomsae. A little bit out of alignment on the round kicks, but a good score of 7.1 for Yukjong. We talked a lot about Yukjong because there are so many kicks. There's 6 front kicks, 2 round kicks. Now we go to Koryo with these 2 double side kicks, front kicks coming forward, 2 more side kicks. So these are kick heavy draw here for the semis.
Well, it's a really great opportunity for the athletes to showcase their kicking technique for sure. And sometimes when athletes get Kumgong and take a Baljong or something, they're like, oh man, don't really get to show those side kicks off.
A little bit inconsistent in power. So some moves have really great power. I can see the click in the hands. And then sometimes like after the side kick, maybe just thinking about the retraction on the kick and not finishing the hand techniques as much. You really want to use both hands on every single technique. Push and pull, push and pull. That's how you get that power to come through.
Nice score, 7.03. and finishes up with a 7.067. Up next, we have Lucas Jong from New York, training with Team East.
I remember I did Yukjong, I don't remember what round it was now, but when I was competing in the Grand Slam, and your comment, Coach Brand, is going to stick with me forever. You said my round kicks were moderate height.
Yeah.
But Lucas here, round kicks definitely higher. Front kicks just needs to keep it a little bit tighter on the draw. So the knee, really drive the knee up so you can get that nice high extension on the front kicks.
So you understand what I mean when we say the Poomsae athletes get hurt on the inside.
I'm going to hold on to that forever, Coach Brand. I'm never going to forget.
7.1. When was that? I don't remember that.
I'll tell you the exact time signature on the video.
It's a good start for side kicks. He just needs to make sure he has a full chamber and retract the kicks. Right now they're coming up almost straight. Where were you kicking at the time, Miyako? What height was it?
It was just above my head.
Yeah, moderate.
Moderate. It's especially for the senior one division.
Yeah, those guys are going vertical. They're going
really high.
What are you gonna do?
Gotta work on it. Gotta work more.
Just gotta call it like you see it. When you move up to the next division next year, 30 to 40, you'll be all set with your 180-degree kick.
I'm working on it.
So you're welcome. So that was Lucas Chong, the second Poomsae, getting at 6.8.
So far, Mario Partello, who had those massive kicks, Lucas gets a 6.950. He's holding on to that first place spot for the first three athletes.
Up next, we have Jake de Guzman, shown here in New Jersey, but actually with the Team M Taekwondo team. So he's just luckily being able to use his space for his recording. He's with Onwin, Huiwin, and Longwin.
It's just a little extra body movement. Head is coming forward on those front kicks, and the back leg on the front stance not quite locked all the time. But a decent height on the front kicks and good power coming through.
He gets a good score, 7.03.
And this is going to be another hard cutoff. 21 athletes down to just 8 in the finals.
Nice extension on those two double side kicks. Again, moderate height, but really good control.
We'll see 2 more side kicks here. Yeah, so he's not pushing as high as everyone in the division will go, but it's a good, clean kick, good retraction, and then landing pretty in control.
On that, a little more chamber maybe, but he's definitely got those under control.
Right, so it's not always necessary to push for the, highest height you can. Your max, if you can't control it coming out, is not always the best approach.
So Jake got a 7.03 on his first form, take a cube jump. And now for choreo, 7.1.
I think that'll be the same score as Matthew Ra, the same scores, just reverse order.
So it ends up with 7.067.
준비.
This is David Kim He's from Virginia and he trains with the Ichthus Taekwondo team under Hyun Tae Kim.
He has good reach on the front kicks, getting pretty high. I was trying to think about those front stances that he has on the like first and middle bar. Sometimes they lock out and sometimes they're still a little bent. So just, I think consistency is what he needs to work on a little, but great power and a big score, 7-5.
시작.
Oh, quite nice. Oh, I didn't even see the first kick, did you?
No, but so his side kicks are really good, but I noticed on the retraction, his base leg is bending early. So you want to keep your base leg locked even after the side kick and then just let it go into the next stance. So let's look again here. That one was better. So if you can keep that base leg locked and go right into the front stance. One more. Good. Much better up top. And this is the junior division, so they're 15 to 17 now. We're getting more power coming through in their techniques.
바로. 샷. 차렷. 경례.
So that was David Kim from Virginia, training out of Ichthus Taekwondo with Master Hyun Tae Kim. Oh, look at that big score there. And he gets a combined score of 7.6.
That's so much higher. He has a big gap now.
Yeah, good for him. That's Isaac In on the mat. He's from Arizona Pride Taekwondo and World Taekwondo Center, and Aruba Lolly and Megan Yee. Nice and low. I wish he could come all the way up to show that contrast. Ooh, was he looking at the kick or was he
I think he was looking down. Yeah, you gotta make sure you're looking up at the kick.
You know, a lot of students do that on Taekwondo.
Huh.
It surprises me that they look down, and especially on the second one. Let's see. Nope, that one he looks. Boy, he has a lot of strength.
바로.
Yeah, great power coming through. Watch the base leg on the front kicks. Make sure that it stays nice and locked. It was a little bit bent.
And 7.27.
시작.
This is a lot of kicks compared to their prelim round. They did Kumgang and Sajang. Sajang had those side kicks, but they were towards the camera, so you couldn't really tell the height. But now we're really getting a good view on these side kicks.
Right, his kicks are controlled. His front kicks actually look better when they're coming towards us here. But then any other direction, we can see the bend in the support leg. So something to address. Well, a little bit more chamber and retraction needed. Some students, because their legs are kind of crossed, they just swing up that leg. And we still need to have the shape of the kick there.
And he's dipping really low to try and get that height. You want to, don't dip below parallel to the ground. Don't get your head so close to the ground. And that's sometimes it's core work too. I feel like a lot of people actually have the flexibility and they think dipping will get them more height. It's not always the case. You really just have to crunch your side, work on those, side crunches so that your body can stay up higher while you're reaching for the height on the side kick.
So Isaac Ian, first, second form, 7.33. Then he finishes with a 7.3. So here's our standings after the first 6 athletes, and we'll see this board every 6 athletes or so. David Kim in first, followed by Isaac Ian, Mario Portello, Matthew Raw, Jake de Guzman, and Lucas John. Up next, we have Jacob Gonzaga in California, training with Team M Taekwondo under Anhui and Long Wen. We talked about him last time in the preliminary round, being so tall and long at this age. Wow, that was a great kick. Like, he's definitely got to be going up next year, 2021, I would think, or next month, I should say.
Right, it's December. So close to next year already. Want to make sure that last punch especially is getting to the center line.
Wow, big score, 7.47. That's nice.
That's the second highest score, just a few hundredths off of David Kim. But they are going to have to bump up again. This is the reverse order of the scores that happened in the prelims. And we're only taking the top 8 out of 21. So it's going to be, again, a heartbreak here. Everybody's looking so good. We can only take the top 8 into finals.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Boy, Jacob just had a really nice first line on choreo, those 2 double side kicks. Really controlled, clean, aligned, and look at that, nice extension. So that's what I'm talking about. Even though it feels maybe for a second that your legs are crossed and you just want to swing it up, you really can't do that. We need to keep the shape of the kick.
That was Jacob Gonzaga. He got a 7.47 on his first form, and now again another 7.47. So nice consistency there across the 2 forms. So finishing with a 7.467.
준비
That puts him into second place.
시작.
This is Leander Wei from California. Trains at Elite Taekwondo La Palma under Coach Victor Chung. And remember him, he has great power. Was pretty grounded, I think, in the prelims. I remember seeing the influence from his coach. Nice reach.
Nice reach, really nice reach.
A little bit jerky in some places on the moves. We want to smooth out the transition, smooth out the draw, but good power and good reach on the round kicks.
I just think there's a little extra movement in there, especially like maybe coming through his head, you know, and neck area. So maybe just calm that down. Gets a 7.3. Great potential.
시작.
Coach Byrne, what's your favorite form?
Oh. It's like asking me, what's my favorite? Well, no, that's not true. I can definitely come up with my favorite flavor of kombucha, but my favorite poomsae. That was hard because, you know, that's more like asking you which one is your favorite child? You know, you just can't pick. They're all
I
good.
hear people have favorites.
Of children?
Yeah.
No, that's a myth.
차례.
Do you have a favorite form?
Tiljong.
Some people have ones they really don't want to do, but I don't know that people have. Children, that's awesome. 7. That's a good score right there.
Yeah, he was able to bump up his second one.
Finishes with a 7.383. Why do you like children so much? While you're thinking, this is Sean Lee from California, training with Just Taekwondo under Master Justin Wang. A nice long body type, kind of like Jacob Gonzaga, right? Mm. Tall, lean.
I think I like 7 because I can show off some core, rotation, and front kicks, and there's no side kicks.
They're front kicks out of a boomsogi, so you really have to have good posture and, you know, vertical thoughts.
It was a nice drop.
Hello.
Some people on that last bar especially will draw up like a dip, so they drop their hand from their hip as they pick it up. And he had a really nice pull straight kind of up and back to come around. So 7.47.
Good score. Yeah, he uses every inch of that drop.
Which is so important with those long arms. If he cut it short, it would look really small. So he has to do that good reach.
Wow. Clean side kicks.
That right foot almost looks like
I know, it's like it's at
at
the
the
end.
end.
Yeah. I was watching his ankle. I was thinking, how's he doing
Yeah.
that?
His arms are so long they barely fit in screen.
Hello.
Did a good job of using the non-attacking arm, so the elbow thrust. Again, the only part that we can really see from this angle is he turning his core? Is he pulling back that other hand? And he did a good job of that.
Right, so that's Sean Lee from California. He trains at Just Taekwondo, Master Justin Wang, and just got a 7.57. So a nice boost to his score.
And that combined score is a 7.517, which puts him into second place.
On the mat now is Bowman Kim from Georgia. He trains at Kim's K Taekwondo. Here's Master Sungjin Kim.
He's doing a good job of doing pretty quick transitions with pretty deep stances.
Yeah, I like the speed on that front kick. Pop.
Hello.
Gotta watch that center line for the last punch.
That was a really good performance. Oh, and he gets a 7.83.
That's huge.
Good. He has a really good pace. He's patient with himself and knows exactly where he wants to throw the speed. Very patient. See that there? Getting his full extension and then showing that clean middle block.
A lot of power.
He definitely moves like a senior one athlete.
Yeah, I actually forgot that he was a junior. Watching him, I was thinking he looks so mature. Understanding of body movement. Where do you put the power? How do you make the click?
Hello.
Could be a little narrow on those last dances. Might have been trying to cheat over to hit his mark, but really nice job for Bowman Kim.
차렷 경례.
Well, with that 7.83 for the first form, he really put himself in a good position here. Not that he knows that when he's recording, but gets a 7.63 for the second. A couple of little things on that one, but still a huge score. Most of us would be very happy to get a 7.63 or combined 7.733. This is Christopher Praratana.
시작.
And Christopher trains, of course, in California. Sean Lee was in the same division as teammate at Just Taekwondo and coached by Master Jason Wang.
Back leg on his front stance isn't quite locking out, and it's, you know, it's hard when you're going in an order you don't even know, but because Bowman went just before him and had that harsh click, it was so strong. Now this looks just a little bit weaker, and I think if somebody else had gone before him, it might have looked fine. But just because we just saw the person before him, it just needs to click a little bit harder on the back leg.
Yeah, that support leg just a little wavy here and there. So has a habit of going kind of out and back, or forward and back, I should say. 7.57. So still a very
good score.
Good score here.
But we still have 10 athletes after Chris who scored higher in the prelims, and we can only take the top 8 into finals. Pretty good reach on these front kicks. I think if he had a more active retraction on the side kick, it looks a little soft on the way in.
Yeah, he has good leg position, foot position on the extension. Just a little cleaner on the retraction would be great. It would show it off a little bit more.
Right.
Baudo. 차렷.
So Chris had a good score of a 7.57 on the first form, and we've really jumped up here in the scores just with the last couple of athletes. Let's see his second score now, 7.53, so about the same, just a tad lower. But that's going to put him in the top 4 or so, I think, with a combined score of 7.55.
These are nice high scores. I hope these guys appreciate it in the semifinal round. This is Abraham too, another athlete from Just Taekwondo, coached by Master Justin Wang. Great reach.
I wonder if he keeps the leg bent so that in the transition, so he can kind of pop it out when he finishes the stance, but sometimes it doesn't quite get the full extension, like after the round kick, the transition into the next front stance, just not quite getting the extension. And if you maybe locked it out a little earlier, I'm not sure, some things to play around with. Good
Those
score
last
though.
front kicks, those last 2 front kicks were great. 7.57 for Abraham too.
And at this point, we're getting pretty nitpicky because these are really great scores. You know, the top 8 are all going to be just really amazing athletes. So we're just trying to give you some things to think through. At this point, I feel like a lot of the Poomsae becomes mental, right? Like, what parts can I think about? How can I strategize or theory about how to generate power? Because the accuracy is all going to be within a couple tenths of each other. For this whole group, I bet you it's pretty darn close.
Well, he's grown a lot in this last year, and he's really developed his power on his kicking technique. He's really going for it on all of these. I don't know what take this was. If this was the first take or the 20th or the 30th. Wow, he has really increased his power over time.
that you recommended people take, sit down with your coach, especially now as we head into 2021. This is a new way to make the national team next year. These pathways, again, go take a look at those documents on the website, but sit down with your coach virtually and make a plan for next year. We don't have any upcoming tournaments that we know of yet. So maybe you take some time to rehab or work on power, cleanliness, whatever it might be, but it's a good time.
And Abraham gets a 7.5 on the second form. And he gets 7.533. And there probably won't be a lot of conflicting other activities for athletes, so this is perfect time for them to meet with their coaches. Here's our standings. We're looking for the top 8 out of this group of 21.
Yeah, look at that score. It's already a 7-3.
Yeah, 7-3. It's crazy. But because most athletes aren't doing like after-school sports or activities, for the most part, this is a really good time to focus on Taekwondo. This is Hunter Proctor. And Hunter trains in Kansas with Zhang's Taekwondo martial arts under Master Jeho Zhang.
Needs to watch the alignment just a little bit on the round kicks.
Paddle.
And work on driving that knee up on the front kicks. Gets a big score of 7.5.
Stop.
I think my favorite move that he does is that down block after the side kick. When he stepped back, it was most kind of relaxed, where it was soft and then clicked, where a lot of the moves he's powering through the whole technique. So we've talked about needing to show a little bit more contrast, soften it out, and then accelerate, show the power just the last 20%, 10% of the technique. But he seemed to have it there on that down block at the top after the side kicks.
Another good score, 7.33 for Hunter Proctor. And he finishes with a score of 7.417. This is Connie Lee from Michigan. He trains with Team East and Miracle USA Taekwondo under Master Suzu Kang. Great training.
Oh man!
Whoa.
I remember. Here's another nominee for the Poomsae's best front kicks.
Yeah, I think the category should be most likely to be able to eat your knee.
And he, totally listened to us.
Oh yeah.
Starting a little bit further to the right so that you had space. Jeez.
Drive. That's awesome.
I need to go back and pause it and see if he moves his nose out of the way. It looks like it's right on his face.
Did they like it? 7.63. That's pretty much.
시작.
Wow, great side kicks as well.
I feel like I can definitely see the influence of Master Kang Soo-ji, I think is his coach, on the side kicks especially.
Wow, that went fast. So it didn't see much chamber or retraction, but we sure hit a high mark.
Yeah, I wish he would hold it just half a second longer in the air at that full extension because it is so nice. But I forget who it was, went just a little bit earlier, had a little bit of a slower retraction. It wasn't active. Connie here has a very active retraction. I think that's a good example of how after the kick, you can't just relax. It has to actively come in and go into the next move.
Yeah, but at the same time, we need to be able to see the kick. Like, like we can see the full extension. Like we could take a picture very, very fast, right?
Right. So, no, that's what I was saying. Hold it a little bit longer at the top, but the retraction is good.
Right. So he gets big score, 7.73. And finishes with 7.683.
So not enough to catch Bowman Kim, but that does put him into second place.
This is Bryson Lavorne from Tennessee. Hello, Tennessee. He's from World Champion Taekwondo in New Fairfield, Connecticut for this recording session though. He's with Chiolun Kim and Master Gunn Kim.
He had a nice reach on that first round kick. I'm going to take a closer look here at the second one. I think what's nice is that he doesn't have too much of a dip on his body on the round kicks. So it just has a clean motion because you don't have that contrasting swivel of the body dropping to get the leg high.
So Bryson Lavorne gets a huge 7.73.
I'm looking at my notes here. I think that's the second highest score for that first form. Big reach on the side kick. Again, if you could hold it just a tad longer, good retraction, just want to see the full extension.
Some of these athletes are really dipping a little bit early. I think maybe just try to stay upright a little bit longer. He's got a lot of good things going on in this form. It's a really strong performance by Bryson Lavorne from Tennessee. Let's get some more of you athletes from Tennessee out here. Gets a 7.5. And finishes with a 7.617. This is Ethan Morleda from California. He trains with the Wangale USA under Master Sanjay Lee and Rosalind Lee.
So Ethan doesn't have as much power coming through as some of these other guys, but so clean, good extension on the punches, and the front kicks are so easy. It's not the same drive that Connie had, but the knee comes up easily, full extension, and then retraction.
Oh, nice. Nice round kick. A lot of buckling on that knee and the front kicks. I wish I could just appreciate it more because his kick is high. It's just the bottom leg is sabotaging him.
Baudo.
So Ethan Morleda gets a huge 7.63.
We're starting to get a chunk of forms all around this 7.5 to 7.7 range.
And just 5 more athletes after Ethan. Nice reach on those kicks.
Yeah, nice reach on the side kicks. Just needs to make sure that the leg that should be locked, whether it's in the front kicks or if it's in the front stance, we just need a little bit better clean lock.
Yeah, but he's getting that core to turn when he needs it to on that back line. That looks really good.
Chợ. Chợ. Đúng nè.
That's Ethan Morleda from Dewangale, USA. So we got a 7.63 for the first one. Let's see, and another one, 7.63 for the second. So he ends up with a 7.633. This is Ethan Lam. He's from Kwang Trung Martial Arts Institute and coached by Thong Hyun. Just 5 to go. So, man.
Chuẩn bị.
Oh, nice front kicks as well. Look at that. She looks a little bit like Connie.
That's right. It's getting up nice and high.
Doesn't
I
have
feel like
to
Connie
keep
had
going.
a better punch to it.
Yeah, it was a lot faster, but he has a nice flexibility and he can get it there. So it's just a matter of time. He's going to be able to do the same thing. You might just not know it's possible. You just got to go for it. Is that rain? Is it raining outside? Oh my goodness.
Baudo.
It's supposed to rain in California. But we're happy when it gets here. Oh, I hear it's snowing out there. Is that the case?
Not where I am, but I think in Colorado it's snowing.
Oh,
Man, a big score.
Colorado, what a funny place to bring up. 7.73 for his first Poomsae. That is a big score.
I think the retraction on both of the double side kicks was different. So he fell out a little bit on the first one, and then body was a little slow to come up on the second. So getting the body actively back up quickly after the side kick.
Ooh, he really went for it on there.
Yeah.
That bottom leg's like, oh, I'll help you out. I'll really push it. And he just stayed just an inch from losing that balance. He's got a lot of potential.
And I remember him from the prelims. There's a lot of things going really, really nicely here in his form, and he had a massive score in the first one. He came into this round in 5th place. So let's see if he can either hold on or bump up, because there are still 4 more after him.
Yeah, and they're all strong competitors with lots of experience. So if he can get himself in a good spot, that'd be great. 7.67 for the second form for Ethan Lam. And his combined score is 7.7. Yeah, just 4 more competitors to go. And the first one is Brandon Cho from Eagles Taekwondo in Southern California, coached by Master Jung Jin.
And we had Bowman Kim, who went 10th, and he got that massive score, 7.733. So he's still currently in the lead.
Right, anything's possible. Right, so now with Yu Jung, the athletes have to make sure they hit just past center. Used to be the athletes would hit on the center line with that round kick, but now it has to go just past the center line.
And that's just the foot, not your head. You don't get to do a V. Your head and torso stay in line, and it's just the foot. The round kick goes just past that center line.
Wow, look at that, 7.83. Now that's the same score that Bowman Kim got, right, on the first form?
Yep, that's right. And Bowman dropped by 0.2 on the second form. So if Brandon can keep this high score here, it'll put him into first place.
Ooh, nice reach. There's been a couple of times where his foot hits and then his hand finishes. So that I would just say that's an easy fix for somebody of his caliber. Just always hand and foot together.
I think it's on some of those longer techniques where he starts the hand technique as his foot finishes, but if it's like such a long punch or strike, by the time his hand finishes, it's just after the foot landed.
Yeah, just a bit.
But
So that's
really nice.
Cho. Yeah, really nice. Brandon Cho from California with Eagles Taekwondo. So he got a huge 7.83 for his first form. And look at that, 7.80 to follow that up.
That pushes him into first place.
Sure does. He gets a 7.817, but we still have 3 athletes to go. Here's our standing so far with Brandon Cho now in the lead, followed by Bowman Kim, Ethan Lam, Connie Lee, Ethan Morleda, Bryson Lavorne, David Kim, and Christopher Pravartana. So that 7.55 is the score that the final athletes have to beat in order to get into the final round.
Yeah, that's so high, Jesus. 7.55, and we still have our top 3 athletes to go.
And here we go with Poomsae Kwasi up next. He's from Illinois, trains with I Tiger Martial Arts with Boyan Kim. I think I see that hand opening up, his fist opening up and closing.
Mm-hmm.
You see that on that
Yeah,
side?
in between the transitions or in between the draws, he'll open up the fist where we can see just a little air pocket between the fingers.
I'm not sure why athletes do that. I think they think that's relaxing and they don't, that they're trying to relax in between movements. But we got to keep that fist closed. I bet his coaches told him that a million times.
Bro.
I think making sure that some of those techniques finish. The last punch moved just a little bit, and then the down block in the front stance before the front kick at the top. Also just a little bit of extra wiggles. Very specific because 7.77 is a big, big score.
Yeah, he has a lot of strength. Strength and power is not his issue. It's these small items that he can start working on.
And he also must be going into the senior division soon. He's just so tall, good power.
I think he's 33, so I'm not really sure why. Just kidding.
Nice tight retraction.
Yeah, I wish his chamber was like that. And then he'd have a full package. So picky.
Well, Coach Brand, you're allowed to be as picky as you want.
Is that right?
Because you are the world champion
of one division. Not the only one. We have quite a few.
That doesn't matter. You are the world champion to me and all of us here. And so everybody listening, whatever Coach Brand says, that's what you have to do.
7.67 for a second form. So right there in the same ballpark as first one. So Poomsae Kwasi going to have a good finish here with a 7.717. And now we have just 2 athletes to go. And both very strong athletes. David Lee from Georgia first, from Kim's K Taekwondo, coached by Master Sunjin Kim. Such good control.
He has such great pickup and draw, fast on the front kicks. The up is so quick.
Wow, really good. Really good speed off the floor on these kicks.
Right.
So there's so many good athletes in this division, and I think they all inspire each other to do better and better. He's made a lot of progress over the years. through the cadet division and the junior division. So it's really nice to see him so strong. Look at that.
Wow.
7.9. That was just really great performance. Wow, really nice. He's searching for ways how he can differentiate himself in this division. Those side kicks look great.
And he's getting basically max height. He's basically vertical, but his body isn't dipping too low. I think that's a big thing people can work on, and he has a good example here. Let's take another look.
Yeah, just really great leg extension position. Wow, such progress. He should be very proud of himself and his family. I know you've probably done everything to support him along the way. Thanks for doing that. Look what happened. That's such a great athlete now. And I know that he's probably very thankful, and he's probably going to clean the house tomorrow. He realizes how much you did for him. So David Lee gets a 7.4. I mean, really, would it kill you to clean the bathroom every now and then? 7.4 for the first form and a 7.97 for the second.
Man, we're so close to that 8.
That
This
is
is the
huge. Yeah, we have one more athlete to go.
one more.
7933 for David Lee. Should be very proud of that, as well as all the other athletes in this division. They've done a really great job. This is Ryan Real from Eagles Taekwondo in California, coached by Master Jung Jin. Really nice, clean recovery.
Sometimes when people do the kicks with so much force, they can look effortful. But what I love about Ryan's kicks is that they just look so easy. The round kicks, he's not forcing anything. They just kind of fly up there. And they have the good extension and pop, but it doesn't look like difficult and hard.
And that's the thing. Oh, 793, great score.
Man.
So just over David Lee's score of 7.9. So I think Ryan, not only his kicks are extended, but every single thing he does is extended completely. And that's different, right? He has such nice long limbs when he lets those arms go all the way out. Just a really gorgeous picture.
Yeah, that last, after the side kicks or the chop punch, when the back front stance locks out with the punch and they pull in opposite directions, it's such a nice line.
Really nice horse stance. No wobbles here at all. I wonder what take this was. Was this first take? That would be amazing.
That would be so interesting to know how many takes people did and then which one they ended up using.
It really would. I wonder if some people do like 30, 40, 50 takes over the course of a week. Or is it just 3? So that's Ryan Real. I got a 793, so the high score so far in that first Poomsae. Well, not so far. That was the entire division. We're just finishing up here. Look at that. 793. Oh, wow.
What's going to happen?
Yeah, David Lee got a 7.97 for the second Poomsae.
Oh my gosh.
7.93. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at this. Oh my.
Wow.
Presentation. David Lee takes the top spot in the semifinals, followed by Ryan Real, Brandon Cho, Bomi Kim, Hamza Qazi, Ethan Lam, Connie Lee, and Ethan Moore-Leda. Great job, everybody. That looked like such fantastic technique.
And that was so crazy, Coach Brand, because in the cadet male semis, the top 2 also tied for first place, and it came down to presentation.
Yeah, it's just nuts, huh? The scoring is so close. So here we are with the recognized junior pairs. and our hardworking referee team up on the screen now. Starting us off is going to be Lane Rhodes and Charlotte McKittrick from Colorado.
Stop.
And this is our last division for this episode, isn't it, Coach Brand? We're almost done.
Yeah, we are with this episode. It went by really fast. There's so much talent in this episode. It's a good one for athletes to review over and over again. This particular pair is from U.S. Taekwondo Center and coached by Sean Jump.
And this is, again, the junior pairs. We have 14 pairs in this semis round. So, again, we're going to take the top 8 into finals.
So they start off with a score of 6.17 for Taeguk Ojang. So all the pairs will be doing Taeguk Ojang and Tebek.
Stop.
So much to think about with pairs, right? The first thing pairs usually get is a feeling of syncing the end of the movement together. And they think that they have it, but then there's so much more to it besides syncing the end of the movement. They have to sync all the presets, the transitions from step to step and line to line. There's a lot involved, and it's a lot of fun, challenging, but also a lot of fun.
Definitely. Pairs and teams are some of my favorite divisions to compete in, just because normally Poomsae, it's a very individual sport. You're competing against yourself to try and do better than you did last time. But with teams and pairs, you really have to be working with another person. So it's really kind of encourages that team aspect to it.
Right. In their second form, they get a 5.93. They're going to finish up at a 6.050.
Okay, come đây. Chuẩn bị.
This is Ethan Lamb and Vivian Vo coming to us out of Georgia. And they are part of that Kwangchung Martial Arts Institute. I remember them from their individual divisions. And 2 of them here managing to fit into this space with those poles. Nice reach on the side kicks. And they are coached by Hong Quinn. So it's a nice opening for Ethan Lam and Vivian Vo from Georgia. They get a big score. Geez, look at that, 7.4 on their Ojang. And I think that for this division, it's random, the order. So it's not based on the seeding numbers. So it really is going to just be a random number of the order. So we'll have the scores kind of bounce around probably, but then they'll be ordered based on how they finish in the semis in the finals. So here, Ethan and Vivian are trying to take slightly aggressive tempo, really pushing the pace, making sure that there are connections in their Tebek, which can make it sometimes harder to match as a pair, but they do a pretty good job of staying together and have really nice extension on their kicks. And an even bigger score here, 7.47.
These are some pretty big scores to start off the division, right? I mean, wow, 7.433 for their total score, Ethan Lam and Vivian Vo. Up next, we have Ethan Moraleda and Victoria Sue. They're from Duangale in California and coached by Master Sangjay Lee. Ojang is a really good one for pairs, at least for our viewers at home, because there's so many techniques that come straight at the camera. And then on this technique here, we get to see the profile, the side kick. It's just gorgeous for these two. They have really good extension.
Yeah, and very similar draws on the arm techniques as well. I think something pairs or teams think about sort of last is the transitions, and how do you shift your body weight in what order to get around, and they did that really together, and look at that big score, 7-6.
Right, how they prepare their arms, how they transfer their weight, and that's a benefit of being coached by the same person. Sometimes pairs and teams have to be inventive and maybe ask other players from other dojongs to match up with them. And when they do that, then they have to kind of start from scratch and then make sure that everything they do is starting from the same spot and pushing out the same way.
And we might see some new pairs here today because, of course, with COVID, a lot of people aren't traveling. So in the senior and master divisions, we saw that there weren't a ton of pairs and teams because some of these teams are composed of people from around the country, and they just couldn't travel to get together for this tournament. So we might see more pairs that are new, but from the same school or nearby schools in the same state at least.
Right. So they did a really good job on both forms, Taeguk, Ojang, and Tibet, and they get a huge score, 7.67. So now in the lead. The final score is 7.633.
And again, because these aren't in seed order based on ranking points, it's just random. We're going to get scores kind of going all over throughout the division.
Right. This is Bryson Lavorne and Marilee Ganter from Connecticut. They train at World Champion Taekwondo in Woodbridge, and they're coached by Henny Kim and Gunn Kim. So oftentimes when we see pairs at in-person events, we see the parents sitting side by side and finding comfort in each other as they're nervously awaiting the action and then, getting all pumped up as the action's going on. But I hope they're like maybe on FaceTime calls or something as they're watching this, or maybe some separate Zoom call so they can enjoy the action together.
Right.
7.37.
Good score.
시작.
And his legs are long, so he has come up nearly in line with her in that front bar coming forward in Quebec. So they're only, a half a score apart there.
Yeah, that's interesting how they had to adapt a bit. Most pairs are like one mat apart when they get started on the diagonal corner of the mat, right? So
Yeah.
it's really close. That has to do with the camera needing to get every single inch of them in screen. 7.47, nice little jump. They finish up with a 7.417. This is Ryan Peng and Kristen Cho from California. They train at KS Choi Taekwondo Center.
It's always fun to see who they're going to put in front. You can do basically
Good job to start off with Taeguk Ojang there. So they're going to have a 7.0 for their first score. We were talking a bit before, Miyako, about who starts in the front and who starts in the back. So you've done lots of pairs and teams. What's your perspective on it?
So for us, we usually put the tempo setter in the front. And so the kind of strongest person that you're trying to sync to, that person goes in the front, and then the person who are following are usually on the back. But then there's also the choice of, do you go, if you're the person in the back, do you go on the right or the left? And so usually we will, again, put the tempo setter on the left, because most forms, all except Pyongwon really, the first move you do is to the left. So you want a strong leader on that side as well.
And they're going to finish that form up with 6.8. So they started with a 7.0, now the 6.8, a little bit of a drop. And so they're going to finish with the 6.9. Right, I know what you mean. I've done teams before, and we always put the leader of the group in the front, and oftentimes the smaller of the three in the front. And the person feels really confident leading to the left. Right, so
right.
Really setting the tone. So this is Lu Fei Sung and Destin Nodarse from New Jersey and New York. They train at Team East with Master Suji Kong.
They started about 2 squares apart diagonally. And it might be because he is a significant amount taller than her, so he needs that much space to come forward without running into her. And they get a 7.17.
시작!
Tebek is a much more complicated form. You know, it's almost at the top of their range of forms. So we did see some scores go up. The last pair that just went this way dropped just a little bit, as well as the first pair. I think there's just a lot more things to try and sync up in Tebek that are dynamic, which can make it hard.
Right, I mean, they've known Taeguk Ojang for what probably seems to them forever.
Right.
But Tebek is new, and it has all these little niche kind of techniques that are unique to Tebek itself. 6.97. They're going to finish up with a 7.067. So here are the standings so far. We have Ethan Moraleda and Victoria Su in first, followed by Lam and Vo, Lavorne Ganter. Up next, we have Albert Jung and Samantha Valdez from California. They train with Team Kim Boyan. Oh, they start off with a good score, 7.37. I think one of the challenges for pairs is allowing themselves to extend fully and finish. I think that people want to get done fast. They don't want to hold up their partner, so they shorten things up. That seemed to happen a little bit in that first one. This is off to a very good start. They allow themselves to finish that whole line. Hopefully they can do that for the rest of the form.
Right, with pairs and teams, you really can't let yourself like fall out of moves or go slowly, like maybe your retraction is a little bit slower as you're trying to save something, because there are other people depending on a consistent tempo. You have to kind of push it, and sometimes they push it too fast to try and make up for that.
Right, it's a funny thing for sure. I mean, there's this balance that needs to take place, and confidence that your partner will wait for you and you will wait for your partner. And when that develops, it's a really beautiful thing. They get a 7.37 again for their second Poomsae. So they finish up with a 7.367. Up next, we have Devlin Gomez and Francesca Mom from Oregon. They train at Happy Valley Martial Arts under Miki Song. So this is interesting because he is quite a bit taller and she's smaller. I'm wondering if maybe he is more the leader in the pair. That's what I immediately think about. Like she feels comfortable following him because he's setting the tone, setting the pace for the form. And then as she begins to feel more confident, I bet they move her to the front because for the optics, right? So when she's in the back, she appears a little bit shorter than she actually is. So if they switch positions, she'll seem taller and he'll seem a little smaller, which will even them out a little bit.
Right.
They start off with a 7.17.
시작.
They're doing a good job of using their peripheral vision. Usually when pairs and teams start, they steal a glance at each other every now and then. And then you can begin to use your peripheral vision like they're doing here. So they can focus straight ahead, but still catch a view of their partner without turning their head.
Sure.
It's also very common when two individuals come together that the tempo becomes a little bit more expected, so a little bit more static, kind of even tempoed. They get a 6.9 on the second form because it's easier to expect what to come next if you know what the even tempo is.
And that creates a whole bunch of challenges, right? Like they have to get out of that, just going dun, bum, 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 dun, dun, bum, bum, because every form isn't like that.
Right.
So it seems easier to time it like that. It's really not the rhythm that the form is dictating. So here we have Lucas Zhang and Eunice Lee from New York. They're trained by Master Suji Kong.
And this is only their second time competing as a pair. They went to the US Open in February this year. That was their first time. So nice that they live close enough together, have the same coach, can train here, during quarantine. So that's hopefully will help them improve.
They get a score of 7.0, and we've seen some of the pairs with masks and some of the pairs without masks. So that's an interesting piece here. He's dipping just a little bit low in the front kicks. His hips drop down as he throws a front kick. So they definitely have the first part of working as pairs, which is syncing up the end, right? Syncing up the end points.
Right, yeah, you want to finish the moves together, but then there's so much of when do you start the move? How does your hands and your feet track during the move? So there's always more to work on to really sync up with your pair partner. And they're definitely on the way.
Yeah, this layer after layer after layer. And they finish with a 6.950. Up next, we have Humza Kwazi and Megan Cho from Illinois, training out of iTiger Martial Arts.
So here's an example. Humza, very tall in the back, but because he starts further back, they look similar height as they come forward.
Right. She doesn't look particularly small, right, in stature, so she's pretty tall. So they're a very nicely suited pair.
Nice reach on the kicks.
Yeah, he had a good save on that side kick. So it's doubly hard doing recording with pairs because somebody might be having a good day, somebody an off day. You gotta find just the right one. 7.53, that's a huge score. And second only to our team from Dewangale, Ethan Morleda and Victoria Sue so far.
Stop.
Think of all the recordings they had to do as individuals, right? And then coming together, maybe so many more, depending on how well they were feeling and how much they were satisfied with each performance.
Right. But it helps that they've been a pair for almost 4 years, so they're pretty familiar with each other, tempo, where they can push, what, you know, strengths and weaknesses of each other are. So that does make it a little easier.
It sure does. I'm interested in seeing how the referees like their speed. They had some pretty quick speed there, especially at the end of the Poomsae. So they got a 7.53 for their first form. And just a little lower, yeah. They were pushing a little bit quicker than they could actually catch up to in a couple of spots. And then they did some great saves there, though, along the way. So they got a 7.53 and a 7.47, so finishing up with a 7.5.
준비.
And now from U.S. Taekwondo Center, we have John Masalit and
Stop.
Maya Rocky. I like to see those stances a little bigger. That's what we were talking about, giving yourself plenty of time to finish, and then knowing that your partner is going to be okay with you taking your time to finish.
바로.
They do move very similarly, though, so the picture together is nice. They just have to keep working through some of those transitions to make sure there's no kind of weird bumps or anything.
They start off with a 7.0. Pretty consistent scores across the judges.
Stop.
Was he on the other side in the first form?
I don't remember.
I wonder if they switched. I think she was on our left on the first one.
Oh, I think you're right.
That's an interesting choice.
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever switched places per form, but I could see if somebody's really strong at one, you'd want them to lead the tempo,
바로.
maybe.
Oh, sure. You can mix and match any way you want to, front and back, and take a different formation even.
정말.
And they get a 6.83. And those formations are really fun to watch in teams too, because sometimes we get, 5 different looks out there in the division. 6.917, where one team might line up straight across, another team with 1 in the front, 2 in the back, and reverse of that, or at an angle even. Mitchell Norson and Haley Wynn.
바로. 시작. 바로 셋 정면
All right, so Mitchell Norson and Hilly Wynn get a score of 6.53 for the second Poomsae. And a total score of 6.583. But here are the standings from the junior pairs semifinal round, starting with Ethan Moore, Leda, and Victoria Sue in first place. And then the rest of the screen showing the rest of the pairs so far.
준비
So up next, we have Bowman Kim and Ewan Jung from Georgia and Alabama. They're from Kim's K Taekwondo and Jung's Young-in Taekwondo. He's coached by Master Songjin Kim and she by Sengak Jung.
And we saw a collaboration between these two schools in the senior pairs division with their siblings, I think, doing pairs.
바로
And I think they're both coached by their fathers.
And that was a really good performance, really strong performance, really nice reach on the kicks and timing. So they get the high score so far in the division, 7.77.
자
They had pretty stable knees there in the back stances for that side kick bar, which is difficult to do.
They do a good job of chambering, extending, and retracting their kicks at the same time.
바로 쇼 차렷
That
경례
was a really nice form to finish them out for this semis run. Put them in good position for finals, I think.
So they get a score of another one, 7.77. That's fun. And they finished with a 7.767, so a bit ahead of Ethan Moore, Leda, and Victoria Sue. Up next, we have Jacob Gonzaga and Charlene Duong from Team M Taekwondo in California, coached by An Hui and Long Win. Good, nice timing there for Tega Kojong for Charlene and Jacob. They have very nice sync and rhythm. They receive a 7.6.
And I don't know if they've done pairs together in the past, but they at least have been teammates for a very long time, same coaches. So that does help with kind of sync, as well as having done freestyle. I think that really helps you kind of build a rhythm in your head around the music that sometimes you can think through that rhythm when you're doing recognize to help sync up with your partner.
Yes, overall, good job by Charlene and Jacob working through Tebek. They have very, very similar movement patterns, so it makes it look very smooth. So last form, they got a 7.6. And for this one, the same score. So I believe they'll be in third at this point.
Yep, I think that's right. Let's take a look though. The standings will pop up now.
So here are the standings for the junior pairs for the semifinal round. So in first, we have Bowman Kim and Ewan Jong, followed by Ethan Morleda and Victoria Sue, and then Jacob Gonzaga and Charlene Duong. And the rest of the standings on your screen now.
And again, top 8 will be moving on to the finals in a future episode.
Thank you for joining us for episode 5. And what an episode it was, right, Miyako?
It was. We had so many semifinals here, cutting down now to the finals. And geez, what rounds they were. We had so many ties in that cadet male black belt semis. Then we had the cadet male red belt semis, followed by the junior male semis. And I think with both the cadet male and the junior male, the top number 1 spot had a tie. So luckily this was just the semis, and in the finals we'll be able to really go at it. And I'm excited to see that in a future episode.
Right. The whole Grand Slam seems to have had a lot of ties, many ties, unique in that way. So it makes it very, very exciting. We're all sitting on the edges of our seat along with you at home. And we're looking forward to our next episode. And in that episode, it'll be action-packed. We'll have our female groups come up, right?
Yep, that's right. So we'll be back here tomorrow night. We'll be here all weekend too. Don't forget to keep tuning in with us all week long as we finish out this Cadet and Junior Grand Slam.
See you soon.